SMU by 17 points. But as far as our rundown is concerned for the day, top and not top story at the bottom of this segment, Alan Bell from CBS Sportsline on gaming in the NFL at the bottom of the hour. Hour 2, 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet joins us to talk about the same thing. 4:30, Drew Barrett from ESPN Radio in Arkansas talks some SEC and Tigers. 5 o'clock, Jason Munns joins us from the Commercial Appeal. And, of course, he's on the Tigers basketball beat. A lot to break down with him about the Tigers because there is a slew of injuries that we're going to have to discuss. Jalen Duren, DeAndre Williams, Landers Nolley, Chandler Lawson. Or not Chandler Lawson. He's out officially. Amani Bates and Jaden Hardaway will all be game time decisions. Alex Lomax and Chandler Lawson officially out for the game. We're going to have to discuss that with him. 5:30. Normally we would do the Friday football forecast. We don't have college football left, so we'll do our NFL and NFL picks. Then 5:45 we get out with Taco Bell Crunch Time. AutoZone listener line, 901-360-8255. You can also watch us live and message us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. So, Brett, you were in the building last night for the Grizzlies win for the first time in a long time. How was it?
It was great. 22 months for me for a regular season game. Only the second time. I went to a playoff game late last May against Utah, but first time for a regular season game since the night before. The whole world changed. I was
Before
there
Rudy Gobert night.
Yeah, I was there on Tuesday night, March 10th, for the Grizzlies against Orlando. And that night, Grizzlies officials were saying, boy, this thing's really close to a pause.
Yep.
Little did we know how big the pause and how big the change would be the next night. But last night, first time back, it was great to be back, and a lot of energy in the building with the Josh O. And he did it again, and just as easy a 30-point win over Detroit as you can imagine. It was from the start. It was surgical. It was methodical. It was systematic. It was easy. And if you dressed, you played. And I didn't know some of them that were making 3-point shots at the end of the game.
Yeah, the Pistons are bad, to be honest with you.
They're starting over.
Grizzlies win 118-88. They have 7 straight wins now. Dylan Brooks and DeAnthony Melton made their return. Desmond Bane was out, though. He has some soreness going on. But last night, what he did, another night at the office. Didn't shoot the 3-ball that well. He had been shooting the 3-ball really well. But 22 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. He pushed the pace, and when he pushed the pace, the Pistons don't have a big man. They couldn't do anything to stop him, Brett. When he put his head down and got to the rim, there was no chance.
He was going to the rim.
There was no chance anybody was getting his way.
And they had no chance. 30-point win, 118-88. And now the 2-gamer on the road in Los Angeles. I guess we root for a split, but even if it's a sweep, that's not the end of the world.
Were we
if the Grizzlies get swept?
Well, yeah. I mean,
got a lot to play with.
They're 26-14 right now. They've built a lead in that 4 spot. Now, Zaire Williams gets his first start as a NBA player. Were you impressed?
He was really good. I was very impressed. I told Greg Gaston sitting there what we've talked about. If Zaire Williams turns out to be that good, Zach Kleiman's in a ring of honor by himself.
And when that pick was made, I certainly thought there was some interest. It was interesting. I didn't think that a guy like him, the way he played at Stanford, I didn't think that it made much sense at that 10 spot. I feel like you could have stayed put and gotten him later in the draft, but I guess
I couldn't have been more wrong.
But
you know who I wanted? I wanted Marcus Moody, Moses Moody, and he's done nothing.
Well,
Moses, not Marcus.
There's got to be.
I wanted Moses.
There's got to be a time. I mean, you know what I mean. There's got to be some time for these guys to develop before we make our final decisions. But I see exactly.
But right now,
I see what they see in Zaire Williams. There's no question about it. He can create.
I'm beginning to.
He can create a
They've
shot.
won me over. They know
can,
more about it than I do.
He can create a shot. Ended with 14 last night. Didn't really do anything else in the way of rebounds and assists. Had 2 steals. He's long.
But got some comfortability. Got some, a little bit of experience, a little bit of run time, and that will add up. And what a perfect night to work him in. That was smart.
Yeah, first quarter though. I mean, he was unstoppable. 4 for 4, 11 points, 1 for 1 from 3. Again, the vision is there. We'll see what the execution is like. here by next year. I think next year, once he gets more used to it, we'll see more of what Zaire Williams is going to be.
Yeah, we're going to be fair about it, but I couldn't have been more wrong coming out of draft night.
Another thing I think we sort of gloss over a lot of the time, Brett, Tyus Jones is so valuable off that bench. Like, he's so good to have on your team. Last 4, 18 points, 12 points, 12 points, 14 points. He is being more available on offense. He's being more aggressive. And he's second in assist-to-turnover ratio in the entire NBA with 5.5. And he just makes plays when he's called upon. And I feel like we lose sight sometimes of the value of him watching Ja, who's obviously ahead of him on the depth chart, always going to be the guy running out there first. We lose sight of how good Tyus Jones is and is becoming.
We sure do. Yeah, we sure do. And you think of that checklist for years in Grizzlies world, hashtag GrizzFam that everybody wanted. Well, we wanted the transcendent, legitimate superstar. We have it. Mm-hmm. If you haven't heard Kendrick Perkins' comments today and the dialogue kind of all day on NBA shows on ESPN, that's confirmation that we have a superstar. The next thing so many people wanted, that legitimate outside scoring threat from three. You have that in Desmond Bane. The next thing, a reliable, not just, oh, my goodness, get through these 6 minutes while Mike Conley rests, backup point guard. Well, we have that. And, I mean, everything we ever wanted that we kind of decorated on the Grizzlies' Christmas tree, we now have.
And Brett, I almost say more than reliable with Tyus. More than reliable.
Much more.
When Ja was out, when they went on that stretch of winning ball games, 10 of 12, I
you
believe
can live
was the
with
final tally. You can live with him as a starting point guard in those situations. You don't want him to be full-time starting point guard. I understand that. But he can get it done. There's no question about it. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's safe with the ball. And when he is called upon to shoot a
very
free ball
player.
and
very
have some
player.
Floaters in the paint, he'll make them. He'll knock them down.
Yeah.
Now, we have a lot more Grizzlies.
You know, but used to it backup point guard, it was just get through these 3 minutes while Mike catches his breath or stops the nosebleed.
What are some of those names?
Oh, there were so many. Gravis Vasquez was the last decent one.
What about Shelvin
tried
Mack?
It all. I was big on Shelvin Mack.
Shelvin Mack. From Butler, right? He was a Butler
From
guy.
Butler. Yeah, Final Four Butler. Oh, I was big on him. I was wrong there.
We have a bunch to talk
Jared
about.
Bayless.
We have a bunch to talk about with Grizzlies. But I'll leave with this note before we get to this AB full send stuff. Because this was, I listened to the podcast before I came in, and Brett, it is rich.
You deserve a Pulitzer for listening to it.
Hey, I do a sports show every day. Defense, since November 28th, which is the game after Ja went out, that was the Kings game, no NBA team is holding its opponent to a lower field goal percentage than the Grizzlies. They're holding their opponent to 42.2% from the field. So it's holding. I mean, they're playing good defense with Ja on the floor now. They seem to be just meshing and finding ways. Now, full send, AB. First of all, the Full Send podcast, I don't know if people are familiar. Are you familiar with Bob Maneri, Brett?
I am not.
Okay. He is Brian, how do I put Bob Maneri? He's the guy who does he dubs over certain plays, does play-by-play, and he does them in explicit fashion, if that makes sense.
I'm sure you've probably heard one of his videos.
Yes, you've probably heard
Because when I walked in and Gabe said that, I had no idea who he was, and then once he imitated him, I was like, oh, yeah, that guy.
Categorically say I have not heard.
Yes. I feel like you may have come across a video, you just didn't know it was him, but he does explicit dubs over real play-by-play. And
explicit as in cursing, profane?
Cursing, profane, just saying ridiculous things. Now, AB went on the podcast with Bob Maneri and his partner, and some of the things he said, I'm not surprised by what he was saying, but some of the things he said, he doesn't understand.
Where did Bob McNary start? Sports talk host in a market?
I think
work for a team.
I think it's just through social media influence. Basically.
Morning shock jock. What?
Social media.
More like
radio.
More like Twitter and TikTok.
Weather and traffic on the fives.
YouTube. Social media influence. Basically,
gotcha.
Brett. That's him. But they
way to go, Bob.
They started talking about Tom Brady and their relationship, and AB says Tom Brady's a good friend. He's a really good friend, but Tom Brady needs me to play football. That's where this whole conversation started.
Wow.
And
I think between now
Brett,
and Super Bowl Sunday, it's probably true, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's true in any way, shape, or form. No, Tom Brady does not need Antonio Brown to play football. He does need a certain amount of talent in his wide receiving core. He could have got it done with the Buccaneers without Antonio Brown last year. He could have. Antonio Brown is a good player, but they haven't had, and I know they have injuries right now, but they had enough talent to get done. And Tom Brady has done it consistently throughout his career without Antonio Brown. So I just don't get that comment.
I agree with that.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And then there was always this common theme in listening to Antonio Brown talk. I surround myself with people that love me, and I don't let any of the outside.
I do that too. I have you and Bryant.
I don't let any of the outside noise get to me. And it sounds like he just has.
He hears everything.
Well, Brett, it sounds like he just has people around him in his teams or whatever that tell him what he wants to hear. Doesn't sound like they love you. It sounds like they want to be around you because of who you are, because of your likeness.
Yeah.
They're not worried about like
that amen corner gets easy for any and all of us. Though.
Because as soon as criticism comes along to AB, he sort of shuts down. He feels a certain type of way about it. He starts to distance himself from people who give him criticism. So this whole people that love me narrative that he's giving, it just seems disingenuous. I don't think that that's necessarily what he's portraying it as. I think these are people that he's surrounding himself with that are telling him what he wants to hear rather than what he should hear.
Easy to do, very comfortable to do. I don't know many that want any different though. Do you want somebody around busting your chops?
No,
I like the truth. I like to be realistic.
That's
I like to know where I stand. But I think I got a pretty good gauge on that more times than not. But I do have people that reel me in and can get me straight.
I don't want people to absolutely berate me at all times. No one wants that. But I want someone to tell me.
We got our text line for that.
But Brett,
what do we need them in our inner circle for?
I want criticism when it's deserved.
I do too.
I want to know what I do wrong. I want to know if there's things I can improve upon.
But I'm plenty tough enough on myself.
Antonio Brown can't handle that type of thing, though. He struggles with that type of criticism, with people telling him how
let
he
me ask you this. Do you think
himself.
Tom Brady's circle really tells him when they think he is erring?
Well, how often does he err? How often does he mess up? He's had Alex Guerrero for his entire adult life, basically, in the NFL. His trainer.
Team Tiger Woods. What do you think? How do you think they treat the big cat?
I mean, when he was going through all of his issues, I'm sure there was a lot of counseling, a lot of conversation in his inner circle about what he needs to do to rectify his character and everything else.
Team Bryson DeChambeau. What do you think he gets?
I would imagine with him it's a little different. But point being, I think there always needs to be a certain amount of realism within someone's group.
Look in that mirror and be honest.
Yes, someone has to be able to tell you the truth when no one else will. Yeah. And I don't know if Antonio Brown has that, because then there's this other conversation that came up, and he asked this question: Who's the best offensive player on the Bucs when I was on the team? First of all,
what do you think the world around Team Howard Stern's like?
Oh gosh, it's a good question. Probably tell them what they. I mean, what do you think? I'll ask you. I'll turn that back around.
I think it'll be. I think it's compliance. I think you want amen corner. I think that's easy to fall into a trap for any and all of us.
Mm-hmm. But when people run into the trouble that Antonio Brown has run into,
what do you think Team Penny is telling Team Penny?
Well, here's the thing.
Coach Hardaway these days.
But when you run into trouble the way Antonio Brown has these past 2 years,
good point. Those other people hadn't been in trouble. That's a great point.
You need people to be able to get you back straight.
You need that bungee cord,
and he has not had that. That's the point I'm making.
That's a good one, and you have made it well.
And Howard Stern, I understand. Like, he's been all. I mean, that's an interesting one you bring up, because he's been all over the place, said some bad things in the past, but he has built himself.
He's been very rewarding
by himself, and he's been personable that way. But regardless, the next thing that came up, he was wondering why he isn't making as much money as Gronk, and why he was not being targeted like a number one wide receiver. Brett, I mean,
well, he's not a number one wide receiver.
Yeah, I'd say I don't know how you feel about this, but
Mike Evans is when healthy is number one.
Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Cameron Brate's a good tight end. O.J.
Very
Howard's a good tight end, and they don't even get any run.
Yeah. I forgot about O.J. Howard.
So, AB, you're not a number one wide receiver. And then there was this thought of, why am I not getting paid as much money as Gronkowski is right this second? I'm on a prove-it deal. He's got the deal that he had in New England. First of all, he got traded. So he carries over the deal that he got. And second of all, do you realize what you got signed off of? Do you realize how many problems followed you before the Buccaneers brought you in?
Yeah.
I just I don't understand why he continues to think that he sort of has this saint-like view of himself, when in reality, buddy, you have done everything wrong the past 2 years. You have done everything to delegitimize yourself the past 2 years. I don't know why you still think of your way.
But at least the helmet fits now.
At least, yeah. He took that off and threw it, though.
Yeah, at least the helmet fits now. That's good stuff. I will go listen. I promise you. I'm glad you did, and I thought you broke that down really well, Gabe, really well. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel, the College Football National Championship game. It's here on Monday night. Let's celebrate. FanDuel Sportsbook, they're hooking up new customers with 30-1 enhanced odds on either team to win. That means you can bet $5 to win $150 on either team to win it all on Monday night. The confetti will fly for one side. You want to be on the right side. Just sign up for FanDuel Sportsbook using promo code CASH and make a deposit to claim your 30-1 enhanced odds. It's simple and easy to use. It's the best app out there. Great new offers every day, safe and secure. And when you win, FanDuel will pay you your winnings in as little as 2 hours. Already have a FanDuel Sportsbook account? FanDuel's hooking up all customers with $50 when you refer a friend, plus your friend will get $50 too. Don't miss your chance to win $150 off a $5 bet on the College Football National Championship game on Monday. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app or head to sportsbook.fanduel.com and sign up using promo code CASH to get 30-1 odds on either team to win. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users. Fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the great people at 2600 Ridgeway. That's Lexus of Memphis. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. 901-362-8833 for anything in that service department, and you ought to see it in action. They get you in and they get you out very, very fast. If you ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in one of their beautiful cars as well. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. And put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500. And you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
It's the Grizzlies. 118-88, easy win. Brett Norsworthy in the house for the first time in a long, long time. I don't know if we can call you a good luck charm yet because everybody else has been good luck charms since they've been in the.
I'll put it on the line Tuesday night against Golden State.
Hey, but you're 1-0. You're 1-0 so far this season. But 7 straight wins for the Grizzlies. What do you say about the guys? Ja, another night at the office, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. He pushed the pace. Pistons had no chance of stopping him. Zaire Williams gets his first start, 4 of 4, 11 points. I see the vision. All 5 starters last night for the Grizzlies were plus 21 or higher. And you just look at what they're doing and where they are in the standings in the Western Conference. I don't know if people have noticed this, but they're in the 4 spot, 26-14. They are just as close to the 1 spot, the Suns at 30-8, as the Mavericks are to them in the 5 spot. 5 games. It's just unbelievable to see what they're doing. I can't believe it. And you just brought up the checklist items of what Grizzlies fans have wanted for all these years. You have the transcendent superstar in John Morant. You have the backup point guard in Tyus Jones. You have the big man who's able to sort of be rough and tumble in there in Steven Adams. You have a small ball 5 in Jaren Jackson Jr. You have a guy who can shoot a 3 ball and give you some offensive boost in Desmond Bane. Everything is coming together for this team, and it is ahead of schedule by a whole lot. And the way they're playing right now, it just doesn't seem like there really is an end in sight to how they're playing. They are meshing well together. They seem to love each other. And 26-14 at this point in the season, I don't think many people thought.
It is fun to watch. My top story, Week 18 for the first time ever in the NFL. Week 19 coming soon. I'm going to guess not more than about 4 years out. And with that, I'm afraid will be the further diminution of college basketball as a regular season sport. Now, we're always going to have March Madness, and it's always going to have its primary that maintain that prominence that it's always had. But I'm afraid with more of the football monster pushing back into this, that it will reduce it in some areas, not ours, but it will reduce it in some areas to just that great 1 month event when you have your bracket in front of you, have all your pools and pots and fun things going on. One thing we got to do in college basketball, and we got to do it immediately, we got to stop these postponement and cancellations. We're doing damage every day with the are we or aren't we in college basketball. Are we playing in that empty Pauley Pavilion last night? Made me ill to see back to empty arenas. Why? Why in the world are they doing that? When you didn't have an empty arena at Berkeley, but you did in Los Angeles last night. That we're doing big damage to college basketball with this.
And Brett, there's theater. There's just theater going on, and that's the truth of it.
So
and
much,
it's all over the place right now. It's frustrating.
I don't know the difference between theater and science anymore.
And Brett, we have the preventative measures. We
sure do.
preventative measures. If we don't push through now, when are we going to push through? That's the question I have. That's the question I have.
Not top story of the day.
Tigers 8-5. They play Cincinnati on Sunday, but the news of the day is just what we're going to have to deal with when we see them play Sunday versus Cincy. We have no idea who's going to be on the floor. Jalen Duren, DeAndre Williams, Landers Nolly, Amani Bates, Jaden Hardaway, all game-time decisions. Now, you could go 5-5 and get them all active, all playing, but the chances of that happening seem relatively low. Alex Lomax and Chandler Lawson are out. And we're talking about down the stretch of this season, them making a run, them being able to put themselves back in the tournament conversation, be a legitimate player in the AAC and on the national scale. But if you can't get these guys back, it's going to be really tough, because I watched that Cincinnati team last night, Brett. That's a good Cincinnati team. Ran away from SMU. Got Kendrick Davis, one of the preseason picks for Conference Player of the Year, off his game early. They won 77-60. David DeJulius is a good player. He had 22 points last night. Mika Adams-Wood shot the ball really well, 4 for 6 from 3. They have a guy named Abdul Ado, who I think if Jalen Duren's able to play, defensively Abdul Ado can play. He doesn't do much offensively, but he could give Jalen Duren a run for his money on the defensive side. And I guess the one thing that you could be happy for if you're Memphis, if you're a Memphis fan, if you're that team, Cincinnati does have short rest coming to Memphis. Played last night, and they have to turn around, come to Memphis, and play you. But you got to get healthy. You got to get back on the right side of things to be able to make a run down the stretch of this season.
My not top story, I'm right there with you. Tigers on Sunday. Every game at this point has a must-win aspect quality to it. Nobody will be able to make a case that this is an at-large team with a home loss on Sunday afternoon to Cincinnati. Nobody can make that case. Coupled with a home loss to Murray State, and then you have that to Cincinnati, it would start to really strain credibility and credulity for anybody to make that case. They all appear to be must-win the rest of the year. They don't have to win them all, but every single game is another case for Penny Hardaway and the Tigers.
Mm-hmm. Must win, can't lose, whatever you want to say. They have.
No, it's a must win.
They have to win these games down the stretch of the season. They don't have much room for error, and right now, it's certainly bleak with all the injuries. All the injury sort of news coming out of the Tiger basketball program. That'll do it for our top and our not top story of the day. As is customary on a Friday, we bring in our good friend from CBS Sportsline. Next, Alan Bell at AlanBell247 on Twitter. We will discuss the NFL Week 18, the first Week 18 in the history of the NFL, when we come back. Next on Sports 56, 98.5.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Troy Fivesh, owner of Fivesh Roofing. Sunday, today and today only. And for the first 50 callers. These are things you will never hear me say in my ads. Because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you don't need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get someone's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. 5S Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service, and I do it for a fair price, why would I need gimmicks? Best products, best warranties, and the best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5S Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5S Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon, cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code PATH for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code PATH for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PATH.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything! A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number.
Back rolling on a Friday on Sports Time on Sports 56. Gabe Kuhn and Brett Stats Norsworthy. Brian Dacus, of course, producing the program. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Questions, comments, concerns, go there. If you have any games you want us to discuss with Alan Bell or Bruce Marshall, send them in. We'll get to them. Also, you can message us on our social medias, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. We bring in our good friend, Alan Bell, at Alan Bell 247 on Twitter. Alan, what's happening, man? Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year, man. Appreciate it, buddy. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Let's start it with the new year with big bags of cash, Alan Bell. You ready?
I'm ready for that always.
First of all, tell me the lineups coming up Saturday and into Sunday in the NFL. It makes some of those bowl games look pale in comparison. I told Gabe, I think it was more off there. This stuff's hard enough when you know who's playing. It's really hard when you don't know who's playing.
Yeah, it makes it extremely difficult when you don't know who's playing. And now we have kind of a hybrid system to where, it used to be, remember teams would take off like week 15 through 17, right? Now you're going to have, players that play a quarter, a half, things like that. So, yeah, you've really got to do your homework here and just be careful. You'll be all right, but do your homework.
So how much do you take into account teams that, quote, have something to play for? People always look for that in the last week of the season. How much do you take that into account?
Oh, big time. So definitely for props because, take the Titans, for example, right? Like they're already in the playoffs, but they're fighting for that number 1 seed. So they are going to go out to win this game, right? Like I don't think that you're going to see any players, that are sitting even in the fourth quarter. But you take a look at like the Green Bay Packers, right? Like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and everybody, they'll start the game. They might not be in there in the second quarter, right? But they're going to get a few reps in. Because Matt LaFleur's seen, when you sit everybody for 2 weeks, guys get rusty. So, yeah, man, it definitely comes into play for sure.
And I look
this.
I texted
this
Brett
could look
this
like
morning.
preseason.
And I texted Brett this morning about that Packers line. 3 points for the Packers against the line. It
was like 9 It was 9 question marks behind it.
Yeah, well, I'll say this for anybody that has an MVP vote. Just use the line if Aaron Rodgers isn't going to play very much of what that difference would be. Like, that's how important that one guy is.
What did you think of Hub Arkish's comments? And Hub Arkish has been a guest on these airwaves of mine through the years. I loved him with his magazine through the years and his talk show that ran in a lot of markets for years. Hub was either sideline or in studio on a lot of Westwood NFL, CBS, Game of the Week type coverage. What did you think of his comments about Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, so, first off, I would say that, these are humans that vote on these awards, right? Like, we like to think that it's all about, what you accomplish on the field. I'll also say this, just we don't need to hear it, right? Like, if that's your opinion, go with it, man, like, whatever.
Yeah,
but
no sausage making.
Yeah, exactly. Like, once you start putting it out there, then it becomes, you start to question a lot of different things, right? Like Derrick Henry last year in terms of the MVP. Why do people have things against running backs? Do people have things against, quote unquote, smaller market teams? Like, once you start voicing these things, all questions are now valid because this is valid, right? So I would just keep that to yourself. We don't need to put that out there because the only reason he's putting it out there is making a point of how he feels about, one topic, whether you like it, agree, don't agree, whatever. We just don't need to hear
it. And yeah, that's sort of my take on it. I just wish he wouldn't have said anything because vote for who you're going to vote for your reasons or whatever. But now that you put it out there, you put yourself in a weird position.
But those reasons need to be credible. I really agonize over that Heisman Trophy vote. I mean, I want to get it right.
But you don't have to explain yourself. Monday. You don't even necessarily have to explain yourself, though, Brett. It's your vote. I mean, you have your rationalization in your head for it, but you don't have to explain it to everybody.
Did people have to explain themselves for voting Aiden Hutchinson won?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, I'll say
yes,
this,
right.
To your point, of not having to explain yourself, what Hub has to realize is that you're speaking for the entire group of people now. So you're putting this opinion that the entire group can just go, Wild West with these votes because of whatever they want. So you've got to understand that you're representing, a group of people. You're representing a team, right? Like, if one player goes out and says a bunch of crazy things, well, guess what? Now your entire team gets dragged with those same comments. Just keep it to yourself.
Now,
Hub's a good man, and I want to tell this story.
Right.
I don't think he'd mind me telling it. We had him semi-regularly for years, and one time I checked with him. I said, "Hey, you good to go today?" And immediately he was calling me. And he called and he said, I just can't go today. And you could tell. I said, Hub, have you had a loss in your family? And it had been his pet, his dog. He had 14. I said, understood. Explain no more. Hub's, I tell that story. Hub's a good man, and boy, he's gotten crushed this week by a lot of people.
Yeah, he has, and I saw that he put out, a really nice apology in regards to it, something that, seemed, I don't know the guy, but it seemed like, that he meant it, and he realized that he kind of, did something he probably shouldn't have done, in voicing that. But we all make mistakes, man. It happens. He can move forward from this.
Now, the other story is the AB story officially released from the Bucks. I opened the show today on what he said on the Full Sin podcast with Bob Neri. I thought some of the things he was saying were ridiculous.
Tell me how he spells sin. S-E-N-D or S-I-N?
S-E. It's spelled.
Gotcha.
It's spelled correctly. What do you think of the Bucks though, as a whole, going into the playoffs without a guy like AB, without Chris Godwin, with some of their superstars banged up?
Oh, that's going to hurt. I mean, Antonio Brown is a talented player, and they needed him. Like you said, after Chris Godwin went down, the injuries that they've had at the running back position, the injuries they've had, on the offensive line, like they need every single person that they can have, right? And the way that all of this ended, first off, it ending hurts the team. Second, the way that it went down is embarrassing for everybody involved. That's also we're going to talk about the Bucks here in a second. Their game, I think that this might have something to do in play in regards to taking their spread this weekend. But it was just a bad situation. It's a horrible look. This is the NFL, man. Like whatever he says. First off, I'm not believing it because I've seen enough out of Antonio.
Yeah. Where's the credibility?
Yeah, exactly. He's done this everywhere he's been. I have no interest in his thoughts in regards to it. But what I do know is that players, have had tough situations or whatever, and they didn't do jumping jacks running off the field in the third quarter. And especially what you don't do is if you're going to quit your team in the middle of the game, all right, and show yourself like that, you don't do it in a road game where your car's not in the parking lot.
I had a buddy the other day, and I'm not going to name names. A good friend of mine. Well, if that's the case, if his ankle was really hurt and they were trying to make him play, I understand the way he reacted. I said, you understand the way that's completely and fully unhinged. I mean, everything he's done for the past 2 years has been unhinged.
Unhinged. And let me
go ahead, Gabe. Bust out Dylan for him. I'm kidding, Dylan. I'm kidding.
No. None of his story adds up either, right? Like that he asked that his guarantee or his incentives be guaranteed. They said no. He had 5 targets already in the first half. Was going to have plenty more. Then the team told him that he couldn't come in the game. That they needed him in the game. He has an injury. Like his story aligns with nothing with reality whatsoever.
It really does.
So,
right.
Okay, none of it adds up. So yeah, I'm all good on hearing his side of it. All set on that.
With this crazy schedule, 2 games tomorrow, then everything on Sunday, the Sunday night game, but nothing on Monday. Wild card next Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night. Do you have a favorite game out of all this menu?
The Bucks are one of them, -8, and I'll tell you why. Tom Brady and Bruce Arians are 2 very prideful men. They're the 2 people who stuck their necks out the most for Antonio Brown. I've got a bad feeling for the Carolina Panthers that they might put out some frustration because they're still playing for something, trying to get that number 2 seed in the NFC. And you've got a team that, can put up points still and has a reason to do it against the Carolina Panthers team that probably won't put up many at all. I'm absolutely riding Tampa Bay -8. It wouldn't be surprised me if they win that game by 20.
Matt Rule out on Monday on firing Monday.
Oh, man, that's a weird situation, right? Like, I mean, he just got there, you know what I mean? But you've got a brand new owner. Yeah, and David Tepper, who, as fast as he hired him, let's see. I mean, he doesn't seem like a guy who's going to sit and wait just to wait, right? So I have no idea what's going on. But it's fascinating to me that once Joe Brady was let go, like all of this just started unraveling. And now you're hearing reports that Christian McCaffrey could be traded this offseason. I mean, that's their entire team. I have no idea what's going to happen out there. No idea.
Now on Saturday, I'm sort of wondering about this primetime game. Eagles have gotten a lot of credit the past 4 weeks for being on this 4-game win streak, but they've played the Washington football team twice and the 2 New York teams. So yes, you're on a win streak. Jalen Hurts has played well, but I don't know how much it means with the opponents you've been playing. What do you think about them at home versus the Cowboys? Cowboys 4-point favorites.
Man, I'll tell you what, the Cowboys probably aren't going to play a whole lot of people, but they actually do have something to play for in terms of seeding. Philadelphia has nothing. There's nothing to play for, and they have COVID situations. So normally in a game like this, I would ride with the home team, but there's no way that I could do it with Philly whatsoever. So if you're going to bet this game, it either has to be Cowboys or bust. Like there's no reason to bet Philadelphia. There's just no reason to do it.
Understood. Now,
is Jalen Hurts better than Tua?
That's where I was going.
Man, here's the thing. Both of them can do different things. right? Like Jalen Hurts is certainly a much better runner. He's a much better passer, down the field. But you got to give Tua credit on this, man. Like he's not a deep ball guy, but he doesn't necessarily try to be. He formulates the offense how he likes it, and what is safe and what can get the ball down the field. He might throw 30 completions that are 7 yards and in, but you know what? If they can run the ball and he can complete them and put points on the board, it works. There's all kinds of different ways, to do it, and especially with that defense when they're on. He fits that mold perfectly. So they do different things, but if I had to take one or the other, I'd probably take Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about Jalen Hurts is you look at the statistics in his first 2 years versus Lamar Jackson, even in running and passing. He's right there with him. And I would argue, and I don't think that Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson by any stretch of the imagination, but you could argue that Lamar Jackson was in the tailor-made situation for himself coming into the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. See, and look, you know this better than anybody, right? Like, people talk about quarterbacks and all these different things. Like, let's just take Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence, and let's flip them spots, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Put Mac Jones on the Jaguars, and put Trevor Lawrence on the Patriots. Trevor Lawrence would be, the Patriots would be a 1 seed, right? Like, your team matters. Your talent matters. Your coaches matter, when you come into them. So, yeah, man, like, it's tough. Like you've got to factor that part in, when grading these quarterbacks, grading these players.
Now, Titans, they've been an interesting play the whole back half of the season without Derrick Henry. Dante Foreman had did a good job, I think, past few weeks. But Derrick Henry is activated off IR. How much do you think? Is he going to be able to come in and take his normal workload come playoff time? And how much does his return affect how you view the Titans going into the playoffs?
Man, that's a great question, right? Like, I actually spoke to a person that works with the company that did his surgery, right? And I asked about this specific injury, and is this something where you can re-aggravate it very easily, or is it just an injury, you fix it, and you're good to go? And he leaned way more towards you're good to go. Injuries can happen at any point, but it should be something that if he's good physically right now, then he's good, right? So, that's frightening for other teams, in the playoffs, that if you get even 80% Derrick Henry, that's a problem to deal with, right? Yep. I don't know in regards to playing him this weekend in Houston, on a synthetic turf. I might shy away from that one. And if they can get that win, now you get 2.5 weeks of free practice for Derrick Henry. Yeah, man, like that. I'm so fascinated. Again, if you get 80% of Derrick Henry, dude, this team just got a whole lot better, and heck, they're going to be healthy all over. Like, that's the thing, too. Yeah, go ahead.
And, heck, 20% Dante Foreman picking up that production. I think he can handle that.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like, you got to give credit to that guy. He's had a heck of a year stepping in, and he showed some of that last year in regards to what he could do. He's been a really nice, fill-in running back for this team.
One more college, and then we'll get to the Monday night national championship game, or one more NFL, and then we'll get to college for Monday night. Chargers and Raiders Sunday night in Vegas. The Chargers are 3.5 point favorite, and everybody thinking if they get to the playoffs, this is the first of a long playoff run with Justin Herbert at quarterback.
Yeah, it shows where you feel on the other team when you feel comfortable with the Chargers, because that's the team that you never feel comfortable, with a minute left in the game. Who knows what's going to happen? But I just think that they're too good for Las Vegas. Like, nothing against Derek Carr or any of those guys, but if Herbert and that offense shows up, the Raiders are done. Like, they're not going to go toe to toe 8 drives, putting up touchdowns. That's just not who they are. They're playing okay. They're playing pretty good. But if the Chargers show up, the Raiders are toast.
And I have said that I said this week. It almost I almost want the Raiders to lose this game the way this season has shook out for them. No coach, Rich Bisaccia taking over. This past week, Nate Hobbs gets a misdemeanor DUI citation. The Henry Ruggs situation. They have had one of the most turbulent years I've seen in the NFL.
Might be time
in a
to
long
wrap it
time
up for them.
Ever, right? Like, just anything that you could just pull up on, on a magic 8 ball of what could happen. It's all happened. Like, you've got the whole thing. It's just, I'm with you, man. It's just craziness out there.
Dateline, Indianapolis on Monday night. Nothing says it means more than SEC teams in Indianapolis at the home of the Colts national championship game. Georgia, 2.5, 3-point favorite. Who you like? Tell us why.
Well, I'll tell you what. If at any point you're giving me Nick Saban in Alabama with points in a title game, I will take that all day long. I will.
He's still the coach at Alabama, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's 4-0 against Kirby Smart. I'll say this, though. They played twice the last 2 years, 2020 and then the SEC Championship. Both of those games ended exactly 41-24. So my play, I'm going with the over 52 in this game. I know that both teams have some pretty good defenses. Georgia has a really good defense. But they try to set the template, and we've seen enough to where once one team scores, like it's on. They both have to score. And really, when you get these games where, you kind of think it's going to be defensive laden, it goes the opposite route, right? So I'm going to play the over here, 52. It might be close. It might not be in terms of that. But I'll take Alabama +3. But my play is the over 52. I think that they put up a good amount of points in this game.
He is Alan Bell at AlanBell247 on Twitter. You can find all his work at cbssportsline.com. Appreciate it as always, Alan.
I appreciate it, boys. Y'all have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. You too, Alan.
Yeah, the national championship. Is he coaching? I've heard
Standard
people
answer.
ask. I've heard
Nick Saban still head coach at Alabama.
I've heard people ask you who you think's going to win, and that's how you've answered every single time.
That's it.
Now we got to get to a break. When we come back on the other side, have a lot of NFL news to get to. A lot of people going on to COVID lists, people being activated. We will discuss when we come back on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 98.5.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? We could romance the legal copy. It never gets the attention it deserves. And some lawyer worked real hard on it. So take it away, lawyer.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Now that was some beautiful legal. Well done, lawyer. Well done.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me.
Back rolling on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Brett, have you caught any of the Tournament of Champions?
I have it on as we speak.
Cam Smith in the lead still? Is this what I'm seeing at 8 under?
Yes, you are. Did you see dead last after one round yesterday? It was a tie, but it was almost a superstar list at dead last. Justin Thomas, who I think will have a big breakout year. Dave used to accuse me of being madly in love with him. I kind of am and really like him, but he dead last yesterday. Patrick Reed down there at the bottom, only 38-man field, so and no cut. Just make it to Sunday and you win about $75 grand to start the new year. But if you win here, you know you're back here next year.
So I caught I think it was Brooks Koepka, and the backdrop on some of those holes is just so freaking beautiful. I mean, it's ridiculous.
You know that's where Dave hit his 595-yard drive. On 18, it grows through the years, though.
It's a legendary.
Yeah.
His legendary drive. So I think it was Brooks Koepka.
Downhill,
and
trade
the ball
wind.
the ball tracker took it, and it lost track, and it made it seem like.
That's what happened to Dave's tee shot there.
But did you see it? The ball tracker looked like he hit it to the other island in the back in the backdrop. The ball tracker lost track.
If it's Brooks Koepka hitting it like that, I wouldn't be surprised.
But Cam Smith in the lead. How about it? So Dave's gotten to play there. You've never been.
No, I've never been to Hawaii.
Okay.
You know that's going to be my retirement trip.
Okay.
Which
island? Do you have any island in particular?
No, to this tournament.
This tournament. Okay.
Good Lord willing, and all the plans go the way I have them, and that never really has worked out. Into one calendar year and head out there to go to that tournament. Like Saturday, Sunday, stay, and then hop over to Oahu and go to the Sony the next week for a day or two.
There you go. You got it all planned out. I didn't know you had. How far are we out from that day?
January of 2028.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Planned ahead.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I barely planned for tomorrow. Now, NFL, I promised you some activations. These activations are very interesting to me to see some of these guys getting activated. We've talked about the Cam Akers activation for the Rams. After an Achilles tear, I don't understand, Brett, how you can come back that quickly.
I don't either.
And they're thinking that he could possibly get some run in the playoffs. We'll see what happens.
It makes them dangerous, even more so.
Another running back, Derrick Henry, returned to practice yesterday. He's off of IR. Obviously, he had a fracture of the foot. 6'4", 250. I think a lot of people are of the thought process that if he's playing, he's going to play full go and get 25 carries. I just don't see how that's possible coming off a broken foot.
I don't know how he could conditioning.
Yeah, that's a good point. When he played, he's a superhuman. How many times he runs the ball per
better
drive.
with that 25th carry than he is with the 5th carry.
Exactly. I don't understand it. I have no idea how he does that. And he had held up well until that foot fracture this year.
Gabe, not at all in the pros because of how they do the hash marks, but in college, and you watch Alabama, if they get a lead Monday night, what they do as well as anyone, when they get it on that short hash and run it into that boundary and make that tackle football box really, really tight and small and nasty and not very much fun, in late third quarter, late fourth quarter, and that shoulder's hurting, that when he was at Bama and they would do that, it wasn't even fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they did it with Brian Robinson last week against Cincinnati.
That's tackle football
and
for
Trey
you.
Sanders.
That's tackle football for you. Also
into the boundary.
I am convinced at this point that J.J. Watt is the toughest person in football because the Cardinals, as of today, have designated him for return from IR.
I wrote him off. I thought his career was over.
Brett, I don't know how it's not. If he plays with this injury, I mean, how's he ever going to get strength in his shoulder and his body? He tore his labrum, tore his bicep, and tore his rotator cuff. You're telling me, look, Brett, I know J.J. Watt's a fantastic player, and he's really, really good. He's one of the all-time greats at his position.
Hall of Fame.
But is there any way that his backup is not better than him with that type of pain and that type of injury? I can't imagine J.J. Watt will be very good when he comes back off of this.
A couple of plays, to get in and try to, make it crowded in the pocket, get around the quarterback. They're not bringing him in for run support.
Mm-hmm. For Week 18, though, some notable deactivations, people that will not be playing. Kendrick Green for the Steelers, their center, will be out for the season finale versus the Ravens. Lamar Jackson will be out again. Tyler Huntley will start in his place. Cowboys.
He's been pretty good.
Yeah, but he's only 1-4 as a starter. I saw some people have a discussion about, does this hurt Lamar Jackson's contract negotiations? I don't know how much it does that. But he has been okay. There's no question about it. Micah Parsons is on the COVID list for the Bengals. Joe Mixon is on the COVID list. Joe Burrow will not play in the season finale. A lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts, but Week 18 is upon us. That'll do it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 will be a busy one. Bruce Marshall to start it from the Gold Sheet. Drew Barrett at 4:30 from ESPN Radio, Arkansas, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
The global shortage on chicken is finally over, but there are still places that will tell you that it is hard to find, except for our good friends at Poultry Power. Poultry Power is currently delivering chicken in bulk to your home or business at prices lower than your local grocer or food distributor. Having a cookout or catering event? Tired of being told no by other food companies when you need chicken for your restaurant? Poultry Power can save the day. Visit www.poultrypower.org to place your order now. And remember, when others tell you no, Poultry Power has the power to tell you yes.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code PATH for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code PATH for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PATH.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We've all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, that's not possible. There are aerial pictures that can be taken every 4 years that can be used to measure most buildings, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one looking at pictures that could be 4 years old. If you'd rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, give us a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best service we know how to give. Fiveash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar, right across from the hospital. Or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut. Or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Hour number 2 is here of Sports Time. Gabe and Stats with you. Brian Diggs, of course, producing the program. AutoZone listener line open for texting 901-360-8255. Also, watch us live and message us on our socials, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. We bring in our good friend from the Gold Sheet, Bruce Marshall, to discuss on this beautiful Friday. Bruce, how are you?
Hey, Gabe, pretty good.
Happy New Year,
Happy
Bruce.
New Year to you.
So glad to hear your voice, ready
Happy
for the
New
new
Year,
year. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you so much. I know you are in the Bay Area. Now, last night I'm watching the basketball game between USC and Cal on campus there at Berkeley, and it appeared to be some crowd there, whereas there was no crowd at Pauley. Is that local stuff? Is that local dictate?
Yeah, it is. You know, even in the Bay Area, Stanford does not have any crowds whenever it's going to start again. Berkeley, you'd think Berkeley would be the most repressive place of all, but they let some people in there. So that's the way it is. Yeah, UCLA played that game with nobody there yesterday against Long Beach. So it's sort of I have a feeling by next week none of the California schools are going to have fans of the games, but they did last night in Berkeley, yeah.
Bruce, I was watching that and thinking the same thing. I got in from the Grizzlies game, and I turned on that game and saw some fans there at Berkeley, and I thought, well, Berkeley can't get out Berkeley. They'll have nobody there after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the upset of the year that they've actually – and they played a game on Sunday, too, against ASU. So, I mean, they've actually played 2 games there, and there have been so many games postponed in the Pac-12 and the Big West and the WCG. I would have gone to the Santa Clara St. Mary's game last night down in Santa Clara, but that was postponed too. So, we'll see how this gets through. They're to the point now where I'm not sure they can make up a lot of these games that they've lost. And my thought is they're going to just probably, and that's why some of these, like UCLA, I mean, they scrambled. Long Beach hadn't played a game. Long Beach went about 3 weeks.
How will the committee judge that?
It's a good question, but they're not going to have much choice because there isn't that much time if they're going to keep postponing games much longer this month. I mean, some of these schools have 5-6 games. You're going to have to try to make up, and in about 6 weeks to do it. I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it. I think they may just decide, we're just not going to replay those games, and we'll see how the committee handles it. I don't know.
I want to pose this to both of you since we're on the California and the COVID restrictions. And obviously the Grammys getting canceled, or at least postponed indefinitely. Is
Golden Globes wiped out.
What are the chances we actually do have to move the Super Bowl? Because I know that's been coming into question this week.
Bruce, you first.
Yeah. By the way, I think it's great news the Grammys were canceled or postponed and all those other ones. That's the best news I've heard in a long time. It's a chance. They're going to have to. They have to make their mind up soon. I know there's contingency plans. They always sort of do that just in case. But I think within the next 2 weeks, they're going to probably have to make a decision on that. If California is going to be this restrictive and they're going to limit people in the stadium there in LA, they might do it. I think there's a chance it could happen. They don't want to have to do that because they've already set the infrastructure up in LA and they've got everything set up. The Super Bowl, all the stuff that goes on with it, that would be a pretty quick thing to get get up to speed. If they went to Arlington, if they went to Tampa, or wherever, they probably couldn't do everything that they're planning to do in LA or for a normal Super Bowl. But I think there's a chance because they have an option.
So, Bruce, you legitimately believe that through the years, the Super Bowl has always had kind of that lone survivor, continuation of government, backup stadium plan?
Yeah, they have. I'm just quoting from what I read this week.
Right.
I wasn't aware of that before this week.
Well, I'd love to know what they've been through the years.
Yeah, I
and
know.
what is the time frame? All right, operate Plan B.
Yeah, they claim they have it. They said it's often weather related, just if they're projecting like
terrorists.
But I don't know, except the one they had up in New York. I don't know that the weather would have been could have been that much of a hindrance. But that's what I read last week or I read just the other day that they do have these contingency plans always.
And I want to know what the insurance policies for the cities are, for the municipalities that could be losing it. My gosh, that's got to be a massive number. It's got to be huge.
Oh, it could be. It could be, yeah. And I think to be determined here. I mean, this is a story I think that's not going to go away, especially if things keep going the way they're going in California. And we'll see. Heck, I had to go into my eye exam this morning. That's what I'm doing up here. And I had to double mask going in Stanford where I go in. And they said, "Oh, you got to put another mask on." I said, "Isn't this one good enough?"
Double?
No.
You got to work.
You didn't have a cloth mask. Bruce, you didn't have a cloth mask, did you? They frown on cloth masks nowadays.
I got one of everything.
Okay.
They said, "No, you need two of them." So I mean that's. But they look at me. They know I shouldn't be here. I mean they're wearing masks outside here. So
Bruce, I don't leave home without my welder's mask these days.
I know. I mean I look. I look like Lloyd Austin getting off the airplane with a welder's mask, and then he's got a regular mask underneath.
Yeah.
So.
With all the madness, Bruce, from a handicapping perspective, has there been any sort of, we're talking about sports, has there been anything you have been able to get a beat on? Because we've talked about the bowl season, even week 18, week 17 of the NFL season has had so many COVID issues. Have there been anything you've been able to keep ahead of?
I don't know, Gabe, blanket wise. I mean, each individual thing has been you kind of handicap it each individually. I mean, the NBA, for one, has had a lot of guys out. Some teams seem to have handled it better than others. And they're the depth-wise, they've been able to cope with it. Some haven't been as well. So the NBA is a pretty good, good example of that. The NFL, the fact that it's hit some quarterbacks here, I still think, it's really unfortunate that, like the Browns, that game against the Raiders, they do not lose that game if either Keenum or Mayfield plays. I'm firmly convinced. And that's sort of kept the Raiders sort of alive, and then they catch Carson Wentz didn't practice all week before the game last week, so it's hit the NFL too, but it's sort of a case by case thing, and but it has definitely happened. And colleges, I mean, don't even get me started there with college football and the bowl games too. I mean, this turned into a travesty for a lot of these teams in the bowls.
Bruce, I know you have great contacts in South Louisiana and do a lot of radio down there with friends of ours. Do you think, we know it ends the Ed Orgeron era with that ugly performance against Kansas State. The Brian Kelly era, it begins. Do you think it ends where Les Miles and Ed Orgeron at their highs ended? That ended in a national championship. Do you think he can win a national championship at LSU?
I think it's possible. I don't think he will. But it's possible because it can happen at LSU. I mean, if it happened with Coach O, it could happen with Brian Kelly. Saban won two of them there. So I think he's probably got a better chance there than he had at Notre Dame. But that's, sometimes this stuff, coaches move like this, and it doesn't always translate. It's new. I mean, he's not bringing his whole staff with him from Notre Dame. He's in new area, new recruiting and all. I mean, I think the LSU brand is good enough. It's always liable if they get the right coach. But, I mean, having said that, they weren't going to win it. Curly Hallman could have been there 30 years. They weren't going to win a national title with him. Same with Donardo. So it depends. I think Kelly can probably give it a shot. But my gut feel is they won't win one with him, but I don't think he was going to win one at Notre Dame either.
Who is the coach historically that they made the hire, the big name coach, and he just never won anything? Was it Chuck Fairbanks at Colorado? Was it Paul Dietzel leaving LSU to go to West Point? Who's the coach that it all signs indicated that it would all end happily ever after, and it just didn't?
Jackie Sherrill at Texas A&M.
That's good.
And I think he started all this stuff. I mean, there have been some coaches who had moved at times before, but that was like a modern move where they went in, and Pitt was right at the top of the pyramid then, and they bought Sherrill really to bring him out of there.
And A&M wanted Bo Schembechler.
Yeah, I mean they were paying big, and I think that started this era. That's 40 years ago now. Gosh, where did time go? But that was the one, and it looked like Sherrill was going to come in there and just around, and he got them to a Cotton Bowl or two, but they never quite got to the top of the mountain. So those other ones too. I mean Chuck Fair, when he came back to Colorado, I mean he had been in the NFL, and that thing failed miserably at Colorado with him. But he had gone into the NFL for a couple of years with the Patriots too. But
Jimbo could be
Sherrill, I think, be the one. Yeah,
right now at A&M.
Right.
Yeah, Jimbo's one of the modern Sherrill if he doesn't pick it up. I know they're starting to make those comparisons there, so he's going to hear a lot more of that if he doesn't win and doesn't actually win an SEC West one of these years.
Something that's sort of become increasingly clear to me about Brian Kelly and how the national media talks about him, he is not a very well-liked guy nationally, is he?
No, he's not a personality plus guy. And I knew a lot of Notre Dame people didn't like him either. I mean, I think his strength is an organization. I mean, he's sort of like Saban in that regard. I think he's got everything delegated and organized pretty well. I don't get the feeling, he's all that brilliant, but I think he's very well organized, and that's part of it. And I mean, he has won wherever he's been. He's just never won the whole thing yet. But yeah, he doesn't. He's not charming people. That's for sure.
Bruce, how likely do you think it is that we see sort of another big coaching switch out of college, whether it's Jim Harbaugh, Ryan Day, or both?
Possible, because the NFL hasn't done anything yet, and they will starting next week, and there will be some jobs open up. And Harbaugh, I think, definitely could be in play. I mean, I still think Chicago's possible for him. I mean, he played there, and I'm pretty sure Matt Nagy's going to go. I don't think Jacksonville is a spot for him because Trent Baalke, the GM there, had too much trouble with Harbaugh in San Francisco, so I don't think that would work. But I can see Harbaugh moving. I really can. Ryan Day possibly too. He has NFL connections in the past. Although he is basically coaching a pro team at Ohio State, that might be something he would look at too. Also, I'm still not. I don't think that these rumors we heard about Kyle Whittingham at Utah. I think that was more if he won the Rose Bowl, he might have decided to hang him up because they lost like that. I mean, nothing's happened in the week since. That just keep an eye on that. But it's this NFL stuff. Denver might open up. Watch that Denver situation. It's very interesting because George Payton, the GM, apparently likes Vic Fangio a lot. If Fangio stays, he's going to have to throw his offense. So in Denver, this franchise is likely to be sold, and I don't know if it's fair to bring a new coach in 3 or 4 months before a new owner starts. So for that reason, that may save Fangio for another year with a new coordinator, and then if they make a change, it'll be after the new owner comes in. But that's probably coming down the pipe in Denver. You'll probably hear that right after the Super Bowl. This franchise is for sale, and I think that might be Fangio's best chance to stay another year.
Bruce, let's get your pick on Monday night's game between Alabama and Georgia, and then your favorites from the NFL where you are this year on Fridays and occasionally on Thursday or even Wednesday when we're out for Thanksgiving. And you are 25-9 when you join us on the NFL. That's good for 74%. But first, Monday night in Indianapolis, national championship game.
Yeah, and I think Georgia's probably had enough hearing about Bama being its kryptonite, and we know all the facts. I mean, 4 straight. Kirby has lost to Saban, led every time. 7 straight overall. Georgia's lost to Alabama. 41-24 scorelines each of the last 2. I think the dynamics are way different from December 4 in Atlanta. Georgia there wasn't that sense of urgency. And I think you saw the way they did or didn't react after Alabama scored that first time early in the second quarter. In 5 straight possessions and over about 15 minutes, early second quarter, early third, Bama scored 31 points. I just can't see that happening. And you didn't see Kirby do a lot of different things in that game. I mean, he wasn't doing what Derek Mason did in the Iron Bowl and just sending everybody at Bryce Young. He was just letting his defensive line try to take matters into its own hands, and they lost a little bit of their edge. And Young was able to make the connections, and all of a sudden it kind of unraveled. I don't think that's going to happen again. I don't think Bill O'Brien's going to run a game plan like he did against Cincinnati, where Robinson's going to run for 200 yards. They can't do that against Georgia. It's hard to run against Georgia. And I think for the most part this season, Georgia was the best team in the country. I also think this offense is pretty darn good for Georgia. And that Bennett, I know he made a couple of mistakes the first game. He looked awfully good against Michigan. His mobility is a plus. Georgia's offense is very, very underrated. The freshman tight end is really good. They got a bunch of north-south runners, slashers. They can gain yardage. They scored almost 40 per game this year. Defense scored some too, but, I mean, the offense is better than you think. I think they get the lead in this game, and they don't give it up. And there goes my free dinner at Dreamland Barbecue in Tuscaloosa, because I'm picking now Georgia 34-25. That's our score in the book sheet.
34-25. Dogs win it for the first time since Herschel ruled college football.
I think so. We will see.
Mm-hmm. We will. In the NFL, anything in particular you're eyeing this week? I know Week 18, last week of the season, can be weird with people sitting and everything else.
Yeah, I know Indianapolis has had this problem with Jacksonville. I can't see it happening. And this is the game. A lot of teams need Indianapolis to lose to open up some other chances and domino effect. Ain't going to happen. Even though Indy had trouble with them the first time, Jacksonville looks like a dead team to me. I would lay the points with Indy. That'll get them into the playoffs. I would also lay the points with Tampa Bay here. That number has been reduced somewhat. I know Antonio Brown. There's a practical matter. They may miss him some too, because he was catching some passes at least before last week. But they're resourceful. The tight ends are still really good. Carolina is bad. In fact, their record is as bad as Jacksonville since week 3. So Tampa Bay, that's a fair price for the Bucs. And one underdog, I think Seattle's going to give Arizona all at once. Russell Wilson, they've still got some class there. Russell Wilson's finger is better. They look really good against the Lions last week. Arizona, they ain't been doing it at home lately. And they're laying almost a touchdown here. I know there's still a chance they can win the NFC West. I'm not sure they're going to win this game, so I'm going to give Seattle a vote in what might be the last Russell Wilson-Pete Carroll game together.
Well, I mean, that would be interesting. Where do you think it would make sense for Russell to land?
I'm not sure. I think he sort of said, if he doesn't think Seattle is ready to win a Super Bowl, right, he could go almost anywhere, I think. But it's sort of up to him. He could sort of force his way out. And I think he's got grander designs for himself other than football. And I think he needs a big stage. And Seattle may not give it to him the rest of the way. So it could be almost anywhere for him.
And I feel like the wife may play a factor in
yes,
where he grants release to, where the no trade clause is waived for.
Yes, I mean Las Vegas is possible. So we'll and there's a lot to unpack there, but I would keep an eye on that situation.
Bruce, if you had to pick your Super Bowl teams now, who would they be heading into this Week 18, 1 week out before Wild Card Weekend?
I would really like to see Tennessee do it because I like Vrabel so much, and they're going to probably get Derrick Henry back in the playoffs. But I'm going to pick Belichick to get there. How about that? I think just because all of a sudden now I like Belichick. So let's see if New England can actually do this. The NFC, I don't know. Green Bay looks like the favorite. They seem to have, they have the whammy on the Rams. I don't think Dallas is the team. I'm going to go Belichick versus Brady. How about that? That'd be the most enticing Super Bowl you could have. So let's go New England.
That would be
Tampa Bay. How
great.
about that?
We've been talked about with the Packers, though. It seems like they are by far and away the best team in the NFC, but we have been taught to believe that once it gets to NFC Championship time, they'll sort of fade away.
That's what's happening. Boy, Aaron Rodgers' record in NFC title games ain't too good. So we will see.
Before you tell us more about your information and the goal sheet and how to access all that, give us one maybe random college basketball pick for the weekend. Maybe not so random.
Tomorrow, Texas A&M is playing Arkansas. I think Muss is having some problems because you can't just keep bringing these transfers in mass like that, and you bring super seniors in the way he's done it. I mean, these guys like Umude from South, he's used to having a green light. He doesn't have that here, and it's a tough fit. Arkansas is underachieving big time against the number, so maybe Texas A&M gets him tomorrow. So I would keep an eye. Arkansas also has been going over, but they are not covering numbers at all. So maybe Texas A&M there. And one tonight, Texas A&M Corpus Christi tonight. How about that against Nichols down in Cape?
Oh, I love it. Corpus Christi on Friday and A&M on Saturday.
I always tell you, Bruce, I'm locking it in at the break. Where do we find more of you, though, Bruce?
Check us out online, goldsheet.com. Basketball every day, football all the way through the Super Bowl. And my picks every day, goldsheet.com, also Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Bruce.
Good luck. Good
Okay,
luck,
guys.
Bruce. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
A&M Corpus Christi.
On a Friday night.
Get that FanDuel app open and working.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. The Southland.
I feel
Southland
like
tournament.
Based on Bryant's reaction, Brett, here in studio, I think he already has that one locked in.
Well, the Southland is playing like a early tournament
their
thing.
tip-off classic.
Yeah,
whatever.
They've been playing all day today.
Yeah, it's been
we already
awesome.
have 2 finals
Oh,
from
yeah.
the Southland.
They've been great.
Do we need a leaderboard update in the Southland scoreboard?
We might.
Did y'all get to catch the late game, though, last night in college basketball, USC? Did you get to see it?
What a game.
Yeah. I thought that line was a little small, though. I was confused by why it was 5.5.
Well, they've been
on
off
the
for
road.
a while. They've been
but
off for a while.
USC
stayed undefeated.
USC looks like a legitimate, good Final Four caliber team with what they have. They have a lot of guys who can score. The older Mobley, Isaiah Mobley's a good player.
Yeah, he's good.
Uh-huh.
And
Handy Enfield's been around the track.
And I don't want to anger any Tiger fan.
Boogs had a good game.
Boogie Ellis is playing substantially better with a defined role and no one behind him to take minutes away from him.
But
He
we
seems
don't
more
miss him, do we?
Or in front of him. No, I miss him.
Oh, stop.
I love
Brett.
Boogs.
Oh, you
Of course.
do?
I feel like you.
Remember, Bryant picked USC as one of his Final Four teams.
I hate to
did.
say it, don't you kind of have to miss Boogie with what they're missing in a primary ball
It looked like he
handler?
wanted to cry every time he missed a shot. No, I can't miss that
Yeah,
look.
but because I think he knew someone was behind him that was going to come
Or
in
in front of
immediately.
him.
Oh yeah, in front of him.
Or beside him.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of
All
traffic
around him.
Boogie.
All angles. But that was Bruce Marshall. You can follow his work at thegoldsheet.com. When we come back from the break.
34-25. I don't know if I've ever seen a game
How about-
land on that.
And also,
That's scoregami, isn't it?
Scoregami.
That was 25. That's interesting. I
How
didn't
do
even
you
pay
get to
attention to that.
25?
Field goals, a lot of field goals.
Get
You
to
have- you
24
have
and
to-
add one more is how you do it.
And one of his picks had to do with Eric Musselman and the struggles at Arkansas. I know our next guest is going to be very,
We're going to talk
very
a lot
interested
about
to
it.
talk about
I
that. Coming off a loss at home against Vandy.
Well, in a couple losses in a row, and I got semi-blasted at the Twitter machine by someone that said, hey, you've been real hard on Penny, you're hard on Kermit Davis. Why aren't you hard on Eric Musselman? Well, I will be, but here's the big exception in comparison to those other two. Last year, in his second year, he went to the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm. It's a big exception. That is a substantial difference in what he's put together in his resume. Yeah,
okay.
and then this, and I'll say it. This year was sort of a down. You sort of had the thought. I know he was top 25 ranked before the year, but you had
Nobody
the thought
thought
that
they were
this,
going back to the Elite
Yeah,
Eight.
you had the thought this was going to be the down year with what he's bringing in next year in regards to recruiting class. But we'll talk to Drew Parrott from ESPN Arkansas about that next, right here on Sports 56 98.5.
Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane bring you Sports 56 Grind Time. Brought to you by Poultry Power. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You might not know me, but I'm Zip with the ZipCat construction app.
Why are you collecting leftover construction materials, Zip?
I'm turning it into cash.
That's easy. You can turn leftover materials into cash. Keep it out of dumpsters and help the environment.
That's why they call me Zip, the construction guru. Also, ZipCat app saves you time and money. Lets you describe a job, name your price, and get a job done.
That's smart, Zip. You're amazing.
General contractors, take a few minutes, price a job, and get it done. Download the free ZipCat app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Best tool in your toolbox.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show, right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back in, Gabe Kuhn with you, Brett Norsworthy with you. Brian Davis, of course, on the ones and twos, producing the program. Autos on listener line 901-360-8255 to text the show. You can also message us on our socials, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. Without further ado, we bring in our good friend at DBarrett36, Drew Barrett from ESPN Radio in Arkansas. Drew, what's happening, man?
Oh, not much. Just crawling into West Memphis as we speak, trying to figure out which gas station to go because the light's blinking at me. But other than that, it's nice and sunny on this side of the state. On the other side of the state, however, dealing with a lot of sky falling reaction from the week, not just in college basketball, but college football. If you talk to half of the Arkansas faithful, the end times are near for the U of A.
The bowl game didn't have any more shelf life than that, Drew. A win over Penn State.
It had 2 days, if that, Brett.
Oh,
had
my.
2 days of shelf life. Man, this is going to be great. And then here comes the portal, Joe, and the real big one that took everybody's breath away and really made everybody lose their ever-loving mind was safety captain Joe Fouché entering the transfer portal, followed by other people and Malik Hornsby, the backup quarterback, which everyone knows who the most popular player on any team is. Of course, it's the backup quarterback. So
And he looked good at times in the bowl.
But transfer portal works both ways. I would imagine that Sam Pittman and company and that staff are working to land some guys out of the transfer portal themselves. They already got Jaden Hazelwood from Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's not just an exit door; it's an entry door.
Right.
If you think they're mad now over Joe Fouché, wait till where I hear he might end up, Drew.
Back in his home state of Louisiana, I'm guessing. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, Gabe, Brett, we know the old saying of the portal giveth and the portal taketh away, just as much as it takes away.
The old saying. I like that. It's becoming an old saying.
The old saying. So we know that. Trying to communicate that to our texters and our listeners has not been the easiest task at hand this week. And the one complaint and the one main reason everybody thinks that these players are leaving, of course, well, we're just poor old Arkansas. We don't have any money. It's all these NIL deals, and they're going to make 6-7 figures someplace else, and this is just going to happen to us every year. We're going to spend money and time, and we're going to develop these guys, and as soon as they become something, boom, they're out the door for those 6-figure paychecks, which last time I checked, even a decent safety in Joe Fouché wasn't worth $1 million a week ago when he was an Arkansas Razorback, and I guarantee he's not going to be worth $1 million if he's an LSU Tiger. But trying to explain that to people has been so hard to do this week.
Yeah, and it's just it's going to be that way. The amount of moving parts in college football right now, it really is sort of mind-boggling. It's head-spinning. But just calm down. You're an SEC school. You have the money that people say you don't. Where does that come from? Why do people think that Arkansas does not have the money that other SEC programs do when they clearly do have at least comparable money?
Well, I think a lot of it, and I've heard this name come up a bunch. Y'all definitely know who I'm talking about. It comes from being next to Oklahoma and constantly being that little brother type of mentality to Texas and seeing everything they got. And then, you look at Oklahoma State and T. Boone Pickens, who would throw money at anything. So I think that's where the mentality comes from. It's the fact that not that other people have told them that they're a little brother, that they don't have the money. It's the fact that they're telling themselves that. And it almost feels like and I don't want to generalize the entire fan base, but we have some texters and callers that cannot get out of their own way, cannot get out of their own misery. They want to be sad. They want to feel like poor little old Arkansas, the world's against us. They almost thrive in it. And I don't understand that type of mentality and that type of thinking. And then on the flip side of the coin is the fan that says, well, why don't the Waltons pay for it? What about all the money in Tyson and J.B. Hunt? The big three, as they like to call it, in Northwest Arkansas. And it's the same mentality of everybody in Memphis thinking, oh, well, we need this. Well, why don't we just write a check from Fred Smith's bank account? Like, that's not how this stuff works.
Like you have his tracking number, like you have his automatic deposit, just right there at the ready. Drew, I don't get it. And this is a sad function of NIL and of the portal, because I know there was a time that a Razorback Bowl win over Penn State, that would carry them with a little bit of success in basketball. That would carry those coaches to the springtime mashed potato circuit and the 4-man scramble tournaments.
Oh, it really would have, and that's why I said I think Monday and Tuesday were great days to be a part of Arkansas radio. All the people so excited, thinking about next year. Just finished 9-4, win over a great program like Penn State. On Monday, a big talking point on social media was, "Hey, we just sold out basketball. What if we sold out Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium?" They were talking about selling out an entire over 70,000 plus football stadium on Monday, but by the time we got to Thursday, there's nobody left on this team. How are we ever going to play with only having right now 81 scholarship players? Which, I mean, you have to keep it under 85. Right. Like apparently four unused scholarships today, January 7th, is the difference between selling out and moving on to a 10-win, possibly even 11-win season in some people's minds to, we'll never win a game again. I don't even know why I'd buy a ticket.
Well, wait till we get to August. You'll see plenty of guys from the transfer portal back in the door or whatever, what have you. There are going to be other guys that come in, the new freshman class, all of that. So I think everything will find a way of evening itself out.
I know this. You know this.
Right, of
Brett
course.
knows this.
Yeah.
That they won't get it. It has been very frustrating for the last few days.
How much of it do you think is sort of the negative turn of Arkansas basketball, losing 4 of 5, including Hofstra and Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with it. Just, misery loves company. So the more basketball side, they start to, pile on the football side, and then once football, they start to pile more on basketball. So I think it's all related. And to this point of the season, and I've made this point a couple times throughout the week, especially after that Vanderbilt loss on Tuesday, when you look at coaches like Eric Musselman, you look at programs like the ones that he ran at Nevada and now at Arkansas, when you're constantly reloading in the transfer portal, and it's the same thing that goes on in one-and-done programs. I mean, we've seen this type of situation happen with John Calipari at Kentucky. You can have all the talent in the world. You can get the top freshmen. You can get the top transfers. It can look great on paper. And it did look great on paper going into this season. You're getting a guy like Chris Likes, getting a guy like Stanley Amude, Adis Tony. I mean, guys that were number one guys at the places that they left. You're thinking, hey, it's kind of the saying that always pops up around Memphis basketball. There's only one ball, and there's so many great talented players. How are we going to keep them all happy with minutes? Exactly. There's only 40 minutes and only one ball. How are you going to do it? To a conversation of, well, just because you have all this talent doesn't mean it's all going to gel well together. And we saw that happen at Kentucky last year. We've seen it happen, at some great programs. Seen it happen at Virginia. We've seen it happen at so many other universities that, unfortunately, when it comes to gelling and chemistry as a team, unfortunately, sometimes you're just constantly trying to stick a square peg in a circle hole. And that's where I think this Arkansas team is, because sitting here in January, about 2 months left into the season, I think we've reached the point of, are we just trying to jam a square circle a square peg into a circle hole?
Yeah, Drew, and I think the Band-Aid got torn off in North Little Rock in the loss to Hofstra, but it was really ripped off with a home loss at Bud Walton Arena to Jerry Stackhouse in Vanderbilt. Jerry Stackhouse will not be confused with Roy Williams or John Thompson or Dean Smith. His biggest win yet at Vanderbilt, and that had to infuriate people to lose at Bud Walton Arena.
Oh, it definitely did. And an arena that, like I said before, that basically is sold out. Now, was it, as far as attendance-wise, sold out on Tuesday night? No. But it's a building that the state takes a lot of pride in of having that great home court advantage. And when that was given up on Tuesday to a decent, and decent's kind of stretching it, Vanderbilt team with, if they didn't have Scottie Pippen Jr. on that team, then maybe they win 5 games. I think Scottie Pippen Jr. is a great player. I think he deserves to be all SEC. But should one player like Scottie Pippen Jr. be able to basically defeat you when you're 95% full strength at home in Bud Walton Arena? Definitely not.
Mm-hmm. And I know there's always going to be expectations created when you come into the season as a top 25 team, when you make the Elite Eight the year before. But what do you think that the realistic expectation should be for that Razorback team?
Well, I mean, it's dropped a bit in a lot of people's mind. I think realistic expectation, try to finish somewhere around 500 in SEC play, steal some games you're not really supposed to win right now, and, kind of to see where you're playing headed into SEC tournament play in Tampa this year. And you're going to really know how good of a chance you have in Tampa, especially because the last week of the season, you have 2 home games against Kentucky and LSU. So you're going to be playing the top tier of your conference going into conference play. It'll be a great measuring stick to see, are you going to be in Tampa one day or are you going to be in Tampa 3 days? So I think expectations of a tournament or second weekend should be thrown out the door. I honestly think the mentality of the fan base, now obviously you want the players to still have that type of mentality. I'm sure Eric Musselman and his team still does. But as far as for the fan base and expectations, it should really just be let's let it play it out, let's wait and see type of mentality.
Drew,
because that's all
who won't be in Tampa except for Kentucky fans, anybody else's fans. It's always failed miserably there. This is the last time they're ever trying it. After this year, it's locked into Nashville as far as the eye can see. And we know why, don't we, Drew? Because you can't get over that bridge in Tampa.
No, you can't. It's quite a hassle, and I don't understand why the SEC tries to move it. It's worked in Nashville. It's always going to work in Nashville. Just make it simple. I mean, are you really trying to accommodate the University of Florida that much? Because, realistically, that's the only one that it helps. I mean, I don't think Athens is any closer to Tampa than it is Nashville. Right. You're not helping out South Carolina, not helping out Auburn or Alabama. You're definitely not helping out Arkansas State, LSU, A&M, and Ole Miss. So, Nashville's just a centralized location, and in my opinion, I think in most people's opinion, should always be the hosting city for the SEC tournament.
You know what we have tomorrow in the SEC? Egg Bowl on the hardwood, Mississippi State in Oxford against Ole Miss.
Oh, you know, I love a good football rivalry on the hardwood. There's nothing better than an Egg Bowl or an Iron Bowl, a Governor's Cup,
Red River Shootout.
I'm all for it. Oh,
Me too.
Drew, appreciate it, man. Fill that car up at DBarrett36.
Thank you, Drew.
On Twitter.
I'm at the Loves on Martin Luther King in West Memphis. About to get out of the car right now. So.
All right, man.
Be safe. Thank you, Drew.
You too.
Thanks, Drew.
You got it.
Appreciate it. You can find him every day on ESPN Arkansas, produces and hosts over there. Now, when we come back from the break, I have some college basketball notes I want to get to, have some texts I want to get to, and I certainly, before we bring on Jason Munz, want to get back into the Tigers and all of these injuries, this rash of injuries and game time decisions they will have. We'll discuss all that and more when we come back on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Saving at the Home Depot means you can do more for less. Like making your laundry and life easier with an LG wash tower that automatically detects fabric texture and load size. Enjoy savings on top-rated appliances online, in-store, or on the Home Depot app. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. Valid 1/6 through 1/26/2022. Free delivery applies to orders of $396 or more.
Hi, folks. It's year-end at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Hundreds of new and used Chevy cars and trucks to choose from with huge savings on select models. Immediate financing available with interest rates low as 0%. A $7 million used car inventory specializing in late model GM certified cars and trucks, and lots of vehicles under $10,000. Financing for everyone, regardless of past credit. Save some money and end the year in style. Huge year-end savings going on now at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. The best things in life may not be free, but at least they're affordable at sunrisememphis.com. Find new roads.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts, boots, and more. Frontier continues to add new items in their women's boutique. Flare jeans and pants are in, and Frontier is fully stocked. There are daily arrivals with thousands of on-trend tops as well, all at amazing prices. And guys, Frontier is your #1 Carhartt store. No one has a larger selection of everyday fits and workwear by Carhartt. Wrangler and Area clothing available too. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled and expanded world-famous boots showroom? Now there are even more dress and work boots in stock. There are over 1,000 pair of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, and Twisted X. Frontier recently added Hey Dude shoes with lots more on the way. As if the selection isn't reason enough, Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores. So when you're ready for your next pair, you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling on Sports Time. I have a couple texts here, or a text here I want to approach. Autos on listener line 901-360-8255. And this has to do with our discussion, Brett, earlier about Boogie Ellis and what he's doing at USC and watching that game last night against Cal. He had 14 points, didn't make a three or anything. Certainly some inconsistency to his game. Someone says, it's amazing when you guys talk about Boogie Ellis when he scores and finally has a good game, but it's crickets when he scores 0, 2, 5, 6, or 8 points. He's the same inconsistent player he was at Memphis. If you listen to our show, we
tried to make that point,
Brett, but we I in the past, we have consistently talked about, and I have talked to all of our college basketball guests about how he is hit or miss at times. But here's the fact.
I think the texture's inconsistent in his listening.
And
if he would listen all the time, he would know that we have said that.
And here is the fact, though. He plays 31 minutes a night, no matter what, at USC. He's at home. He's clearly more comfortable. He averages 12 points a game, and he does not have to worry about those minutes being taken away. And I think that has made a difference in his game from a consistency
I don't miss him for a second. I can't be clear about it. Texture, I'm more with you than against you.
Well,
I don't miss him 1 second.
I think the biggest thing is that, like you were saying, he's playing 30 minutes a game. I think when he was here in Memphis, the problem was he would have one bad game, and then he'd start looking over his shoulder in front of him and say, now, this guy's going to get more minutes, this guy. And so that one game would turn into 2 games. That would turn into 3 games, turn into 4 games. At USC, that's not happening. You'll see him have maybe a bad game here, a couple bad games here and there, but then he'll kind of bounce back, and he's playing more comfortable. Also, he's right in his backyard. Right. He's from California. It's a lot more than just the inconsistent plays of why he's more comfortable.
He's the defender.
I love Boogie Ellis.
He picked him to go to the Final Four.
And the only reason I would say that I feel like at points this year, you'd think maybe you miss Boogie Ellis. the point guard role, the primary ball handler role, has still not really been fully eked out. Now, granted, Earl Timberlake has taken on that role and done a decent job past few games.
Better.
But from a standpoint of what he needs to do, what Earl Timberlake came here to do, I don't think he ever wanted to be the on-ball guy bringing the ball up the floor.
No.
All right, let's go through the full list. Let's go miss or don't miss. Do we miss DJ Jeffries? I don't.
No, I don't think you need to.
At times, yes.
Well, but here's the other thing though. They do have guys.
Bryant's clinging to that NIT title.
Right. I think they have guys that have a similar skill set that they've brought in since then that they can do things to make up
Sufficient.
production. And DJ
miss or don't miss. Musa Cisse.
Real quick, DJ by the end of his career here at Memphis was
dollar move nickel shot.
He was not comfortable. He was just not comfortable.
Huh.
There's no question about it. Musa, no. If
No.
Jalen Duren's playing, no. Who else? Do you have any more names?
Damian Ball.
No.
Don't miss.
No. He was off the bench, didn't do. And remember
Antoine Jones.
Remember the one and done
Poor
talk?
Antoine.
I liked Antoine Jones.
He's not playing anymore.
Iverson.
I liked his. I
love Cron Iverson. Oh.
I liked the skill set of Antoine Jones. It just never, even at Creighton.
He's not playing anymore.
Yeah, what do you mean?
He's not playing anymore. He's not playing
done?
basketball. I looked into it yesterday, and from what I can tell, he's not playing. He went to Creighton, then he went down to Louisiana Lafayette, and it looks like he just completely quit basketball. Poor Antoine.
That's very, very interesting. How about that? Now
Wesley Witherspoon.
Oh, Spoon.
Throwing it back, I hear you. Now, Tigers 8-5 Sunday versus Cincy, and these injuries. I just want. I'm curious how this all works out. Who plays, who doesn't. And I'm hoping, especially with some of these game time decisions between Jalen Duren, DeAndre Williams, Amani Bates, Landers Nolly, you hope a few of them can play at the very least. Alex Lomax and Chandler Lawson completely out. Jaden Hardaway, of course, a game time decision as well. Now,
honestly, there's a couple I hope don't play Sunday.
Well, Brett, here's the question I want to pose.
I don't want them hurt, but I don't think we need to see them at the scoring table a lot.
Based on how important Jalen Duren has been so far this year, based on how important DeAndre Williams has been,
I want both of them back.
These 2 years, how far do you think they can get unscathed the rest of their schedule with one of them or both of them out? Because both of them out seems like a recipe for disaster. One of them out would certainly limit you.
You get scathed Sunday. Gabe, we don't have a lot of time for it, but what did you think of the impassioned entreaty, the reaching out that Alex Lomax's dad did to Mark Giannotto, the columnist at the Commercial Appeal?
I have not gotten to look into it. What exactly happened?
He reached out to Mark as I read, and look, there's two sides of things, and I think my son's getting unfairly knocked around.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's dad speaking,
and I think that's a dad trying to come to his son's defense. And there's always lost in a lot of this, especially I've noticed this with college basketball in the city. It's always lost that these are college guys, college-age guys at times, and they can be very, very effective, especially with Alex Lomax being from the city, being from this city, and to a certain extent, a lot of people turning their back on him in certain ways. And Brett, that doesn't mean you can't be critical of a player. That doesn't mean you can't come in here and sort of talk about it and discuss at times how Penny Hardaway leans on Alex Lomax when he probably shouldn't in certain situations. You have to discuss that. But I can certainly see where that would affect a young man that way.
If it cuts to the praise, then the criticism has to. There has to be some of that. Neither one needs to be over the top.
And there was always, from playing college sports, there's always going to be people that are going to, whether you're in the building, whether it's on Twitter, through social media, you're going to get criticized.
But I would say to anybody who thinks that Alex Lomax has been unfairly knocked around, I can take you back 35, 40 years to the treatment of Andre Turner, and I can take you back 2 years and 3 years ago to the treatment of one of the most successful quarterbacks in school history in Brady White.
And yes, Brett, there's unfairly, I think, is probably an overstatement. Maybe for some people. There's some people that have probably gone too far with their criticisms of Alex Lomax, whether they cut too deep, get into personality issues, where they talk about him and Penny's relationship as if they are in the room when they're discussing. Maybe that's too deep. Maybe that's too much. But for the most part, when I hear people, especially on these airwaves, discuss Alex Lomax, I feel like it's very fairly assessing the on-court play and what is happening on court with the Memphis Tigers. I don't think the cuts
these
are
are
too
the
deep.
only shows I listen to, and I have not heard host nor caller, texter, responder on these airwaves. The only ones I listen to and the only ones I care about be over the top with Alex
And then
Lomax.
you do have to. I mean, some of the observations we made can be harsh. Seeing what they did in the NIT without Alex Lomax, seeing what they did against Wichita State and then followed it up against Tulsa without Alex Lomax, 2 wins in a row. Truth hurts sometimes. I agree with that. And maybe that's harsh, but truth is harsh sometimes. And that's just that is what it is. It's not to pile on him, it's not to make him feel bad, it's not to hurt his feelings in any way. It's observations based on what you see happening on the floor for the Memphis Tigers.
Let me say one more time before the music times us out. I don't miss Boogie Ellis a second.
You're crazy.
Hour 2 is in the books. Hour 3 is on the way. We bring on Jason Munns from the CA to talk just this, Tigers basketball. On the other side on Sports 56, 98.5.
Southland Casino is turning spinners into winners. It's the return of Battle Wheels. And this time around, we're giving away up to $375,000 in free play. Earn entries every day. Then each Saturday night in January, 30 finalists take their turn at the prize wheel. Everyone who spins wins. Take the short spin to Southland for your chance to win part of up to $375,000 in free play. See Lucky North Club for details. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help, call 800-522-4700.
Tire pressure light on? Tread low? Car sliding when you stop? It's time to go down to Milton on the Spot. Serving you at 3 locations: 1684 Getwell Road, 2127 Ellis Presley, and 3691 North Watkins. Memphis' largest supply of new and used tires, all under warranty. Yes, that's warranty on used tires too. Ask about the tire rotation and balance specials. Milton on the Spot on Getwell Road, Elvis Presley, or North Watkins. Here to take care of your every tire need. Milton on the Spot.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life. And it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Final hour on this Friday afternoon, first week of the year. 51 weeks to go after this last hour today. We're also in the 7-month countdown to the FedEx St. Jude Classic. And I'll tell you, only one shot off the lead at Kapalua in Golf in Paradise. Phil Mickelson, Memphis Gallery favorite all time. Phil Mickelson, one shot off the lead. Hideki Matsuyama leads 8 under, 4 under for the day. Golf in Paradise. We're going to talk the Tigers with Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeals. We do at this time all the way through the Final Four. We always visit with Jason at 5 o'clock on Friday. I've missed him the last couple of weeks. We've missed Friday the last couple of weeks. We visit with him after I tell you about the title sponsor this hour, and also after I tell you about FanDuel. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel on Monday night, the College Football National Championship. It will be played in Indianapolis between Alabama and Georgia. To celebrate, FanDuel Sportsbook hooking up new customers with 30-1 enhanced odds on either team to win. That means you bet $5 and you can win $150 on either team to win it all. Just sign up for FanDuel Sportsbook using promo code CASH and make a deposit to claim your 30-1 enhanced odds. It's simple and easy to use. The app is so fun, and when you win, FanDuel will pay you your winnings in as little as 2 hours. Already have a FanDuel Sportsbook account? Well, FanDuel will hook up all customers with $50 when you refer a friend, and your friend gets $50 as well. Don't miss your chance to win $150 off a $5 bet on the national championship game Monday night. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app or head to sportsbook.fanduel.com and sign up using promo code CASH to get 30-1 odds on either team to win on Monday. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Our title sponsor this hour, it's DeSoto Auto Sales. They've been with us for years, and we appreciate them so much. They wish everyone a happy new year. They're at 5704 Goodman Road, online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars test-driven, thoroughly examined, checked out bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model, no shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales, and you will be treated like family by a very kind, very courteous staff. They care about your time. They want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in within 45 minutes, find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee. They keep it that simple because they know we live in a world today where time really matters. You can do that over your busy lunch hour immediately after work at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience. Tigers in Cincinnati on Sunday, Gabe, and to talk about it with us from the Commercial Appeal, the great beat writer on the beat covering all things Tigers, Jason Munns. He joins us now. Jason, Happy New Year. A little better for Tiger basketball since I last saw you in person at halftime of the Tulane game. That great win over Wichita State, and then just a win, but a win nonetheless at home the other night. Good afternoon, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all having me back now that the break's over.
Of course.
We're glad to have you.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to start this segment off. We're going to name every single player. You're going to give your full diagnosis of what you think is wrong with them injury-wise.
And we're going to go to 8 o'clock doing it.
Yeah, play your best doctor on the radio. No, but seriously, these injury issues seem to be very bad. How much do you think of this is going to be a lingering issue down the stretch of the season?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to. I mean, here's my thing. The game Sunday is on ABC. I'll be. Let's see where things are Sunday.
Right.
Let's see how these guys feel on Sunday. With when the lights and the cameras are all on, and and it sinks in just how critical a game this is. Because, after what Cincinnati did to SMU last night, this league is begging for someone to take control. And, because you got SMU losing now, you've got Cincinnati losing to Tulane, you've got Tulane losing to East Carolina. The only undefeated teams left in conference play are Houston and East Carolina. East Carolina's just 1-0. Those are the only two teams ahead of Memphis in the standings. And like I said, that this league is just on its knees, trying to get somebody to take control. And Memphis is in a good spot. They're 2-1. They're playing at home on Sunday. The problem is they got a lot of guys who are banged up. It sounds like the only two who are definitely out, according to Penny Hardaway, who we talked to just about 3 hours ago, are Alex Lomax and Chandler Lawson. But that's no change. Lomax has been missing now. This will be his third game, and it'll be the 9th game for Chandler Lawson. So they're kind of getting used to getting along without these guys. Now, it's the game time decisions, as Penny Hardaway said earlier today, that are a little bit troublesome because that list is growing and growing. It's now including DeAndre Williams, Jalen Duren, Jaden Hardaway, and Landers Nolly. And even though he didn't put Amani Bates in the game time decision category, he said he practiced yesterday, but in the very next breath he said, we'll see. We'll see if that means anything come Sunday. So you're looking at a situation where they could be severely shorthanded again. But at the same time, Penny also said, we're hopeful that everybody who's on the game time decision list plays on Sunday. So, it doesn't sound like anybody's been ruled out yet. There's still, 36 hours or thereabouts between now and then. So, yeah, exactly. A lot can happen between now and then. You wake up on Sunday and you start feeling the adrenaline, and maybe that kicks in and changes some people's status.
Jason, you're right on the begging front. Oresco's begging. The bracketologists are begging. I refuse to believe the AAC is a one-bid league. And you go around, for what it's worth, on January 7, right after the new year, you go around the bracketology world, and the AAC, a one-bid league. I refuse to believe the Tigers are in a one-bid league.
I know. I would like to refuse to believe that as well, but you start, it hasn't taken very long for some of these teams that a lot of people were high on to come back, to get a reality check. I mean, UCF, everybody thought they were, could be a dark horse or a sleeper or whatever you want to call it, and then they come out and they beat Michigan, and I know Michigan's not what they were last season, but it's still Michigan, and UCF took them down pretty convincingly, only to then turn around and lose to Temple and somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but and not only losing to Temple, but losing to Temple without Aaron McKee on the bench. They were without their head coach, so that is not a good thing. And then again, SMU was kind of steamrolling right along. I think they'd won 8 in a row or something like that. And then they go to Cincinnati and just get drilled. I mean, drilled. And this is a Cincinnati team that had just lost by 8 on its own home floor, and it wasn't even that close. I mean, Tulane was up, I want to say, like close to 20 point lead in the first half. They made it look respectable. Cincinnati did, but they still only scored 60 points against Tulane on their own home floor. So, it's just kind of been a head scratcher these first couple of weeks of conference play. But I still am in. I know there's a lot of season left, and I'm with you, Brett. I do not think that this is a one bid league. I think SMU will get their act together at the very least. They will get their act together. Memphis will, I think, be a contender. Probably down to the wire.
Tulane has settled down.
Oh yeah. They've come back down to. They just lost to East Carolina. So, but yeah, I think Houston, Memphis, and SMU are kind of the front runners in my mind for if the AAC is going to be a multi-bid league, then those three I think are the most likely candidate.
And this will be basically a weekly talking point, but when we're talking about what the Tigers need to do to get back into bubble conversation for the NCAA tournament, you would certainly think no home losses, but what is affordable in the way of slip-ups?
You could lose to Houston on the road. You could maybe even lose to SMU on the road, depending on how they look the rest of the way. I mean, look, everybody's going to have a stinker, and I watched most of that game last night between SMU and Cincinnati, and boy, I hope that's going to end up being the blip on the radar for SMU because they looked bad. I mean, they just looked really, really bad. A lot of that had to do with Cincinnati, but you hope that's just going to be their one stinker, so that if Memphis were to slip up against SMU, it would not derail them and their chances of getting into the NCAA tournament. So. I do think, however, that's going to be pretty much it as far as if they can afford slip ups. I think those might be the only permissible ones, simply because you've lost to Tulane and you lost to Georgia. And
Jason, every head coach they have to go through it. In the honeymoon for Penny Hardaway, it was all deserved. It definitely is all deserved. He's beloved, but at some point you do get past his shoe game and his airplane game and where he's going to eat and all the stuff that really you get past the 5 stars and the 4 stars because you got to go out there on the floor and do it. The other night that reaction post game I think was a lot of things: frustration at how the first 10 minutes that started and the last 10 minutes ended. The middle 20 was really good, but also this. Do you think he's feeling the pressure?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I would be surprised if he even admitted publicly that he wasn't, because it's year 4. I mean, it is year 4, and
it's time.
You've got two number 1 recruiting classes. You've supplemented that with quality transfers in DeAndre Williams, Landers Nolley, and now Earl Timberlake. You said it. It is time, and I do think that there might have been some of that that contributed to the way he was handling things post game after Tulsa. Mm-hmm. I mean, it could have been some of it could have had to do with the refs. It was a very poorly called game. I think even the most objective observer would be able to admit that.
Agreed.
Both ways. I mean, mm-hmm. Memphis got some calls that go against them that shouldn't have, and vice versa. But I do think that the injury thing is also starting to really bug Penny. They needed guys. in that game. And toward the end, when Malcolm Dandridge fouled out and Josh Minot fouled out, and to turn to the bench and not be able to put DeAndre Williams back in the game because he had aggravated his lower back issue, I think that really, really got to him. And then the other thing is, I don't think Penny's he's never going to forget that 40-point loss that came at Tulsa 2 years ago. And Lester Quinones kind of even alluded to it in the postgame, that, this game was kind of personal for Penny Hardaway. He wanted to go out and make a statement and get a little bit of revenge for that 40-point deal that happened a couple of years ago up in Tulsa, and he was well on his way. It looked like he was going to get his wish, only to turn around and have to cross his fingers and every toe he's got to hope that last second half court heave didn't go in to send it to overtime. I'm sure that was not a good feeling. And then again, you add it all up, and I think that's why you got what you got afterwards.
Jason, how bizarre was it, though? I mean, you covered the team now. I mean, he usually shoots from the hip. He usually tells it exactly how it is and doesn't hide anything. And this year, I mean, you look at after some of the losses, after Ole Miss and after Georgia, how open he was about how he felt. Was it just truly bizarre to see him with the one-word, two-word, short answers?
Yeah, I just, even in the moment, I'm not even. I flat out asked it. I started to ask a different question, and I got midway through, and I was like, "Are you mad? Like, are you just angry right now? Like, what are you mad about?" And
said, "No, I'm happy."
And his answer was, "No, I'm happy. We were able to get out of here with a win." But
which is a good answer
for sure. And. It was just so shocking and surreal in so much as that was so much of a 180 from the way he's always been. He usually takes sometimes north of 30, 45 minutes between the end of the game and the time that he sits down with the media. And I still hadn't even left my seat on the sideline when I started hearing people say things like, we got to go, he's on his way. And I was like, okay, well, this, and then I look up and I see Earl Timberlake shooting free throws, and I'm like, well, they've already disbanded.
Always exciting on the Tiger beat.
Oh, it was. And it was, and that was the thing is like people, I've had people ask me, was it awkward or weird or whatever? And like, yeah, but at the same time, it was something different, and that is that can be refreshing.
Mm-hmm. And looking at what on the floor they've done the past two games, how much do you think Earl Timberlake's going to play a part as the main primary ball handler, even if at some point Alex Lomax does become available to play?
I think it's his job to lose at this point. I think he's earned the way he's played these last two games. Look, he's the best option they have. He can get to the rim and finish, and that is a big plus. He rebounds well. He's not like the most polished passer or the smoothest ball handler you've ever seen, but I think when you put it all together and the fact that he's starting to pick up some steam here. For crying out loud, this guy's coming off neck surgery, and he had a shoulder problem that ended his. He came into this season having only played 8 games or something at Miami at the collegiate level, and not only that, but he's going from one system, one coaching staff to another, a whole new group of teammates. It took him a little bit. So the up and down stuff that you got through the first 10 games, I think it's fair that to excuse that. But it does seem like these last 2 or 3 games, he's really sort of figured some things out, and is really a big reason why I think they have won 3 of their last 4 games.
Jason, today the story about Alex Lomax reaching out to your colleague at the Commercial Appeal, Mark Giannotto. Mark's a friend of mine. I know he's at another radio station, but Mark and I are good friends, and I think a lot of him. I think he has been a real highlight and asset to this community. And you and y'all's team up of coverage of the Tigers, and Evan from football is exemplary. Do you think the knocking around, the criticism of Alex Lomax has been over the top, about fair, or it goes with the territory?
I think it's probably all of the above, honestly. I mean, like, my thing is, he has not progressed, really. Like, he's not where he should be in year 4. I mean, and I think even, again, going back to the line that I used earlier, even the most impartial observer could admit that. Even I'm sure Alex would admit that. But some of the things that you see on social media and in different pockets of the internet, and even some of the things you hear people say in real life are, I believe, unfair in many instances because.
Jason, let me interrupt you. May I rephrase it then? From responsible people that should know better. Do you hear that from them, or is it just social media response? Is it Twitter under an egg account, or is it just frustration of fans? I have not heard anyone from the responsibility realm, and you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Have you?
No, not really. But I will say I think that those who are critical and probably overly critical of Alex Lomax, I think that they're just a little bit misguided in their in the way they're passing out blame. I think ultimately the blame needs to be placed at the feet of the head coach. Alex Lomax has a role on this team. It is not 25 plus minutes a game. Until he proves otherwise, it is not 25 plus minutes a game. And but Alex doesn't decide how many minutes he plays. That's Penny Hardaway's decision. And again, I as Mark wrote in his column, there are a lot of people saying, well, he doesn't. The team is better without him and things like that. Disagree. Hard disagree. I think if you play him 10, 12, maybe even 15 minutes a game in the right spot, he can give. He's proven in the past to be a valuable asset. He gives you great defense and some really nice leadership. He settles things. He helps settle things down, and that was a lot last year. When Memphis was having issues with composure, he was able to do that. He was able to calm others down, in rocky situations. But no, I think that it's easier to blame him than it is to look at it from just through a different prism and understand that it's not that the team is better without Alex Lomax. They're just better. The team would be better if he wasn't playing so many minutes.
Yeah, and never find a moral compass on Twitter from first name bunch of numbers tweeting at Alex Lomax. That's never going to work. I'm just it is tough for me at times because I look at Alex Lomax and his sort of career arc here in Memphis. It really does have to be tough to stay in Memphis and sort of try to give your all to the city and have this level.
Was so scared of.
But to have this level of pushback to the minutes he's getting, to his performance on the court.
It's Tiger basketball. That's all I can say, Jason.
Yeah, I agree. It is the city's.
It's not always fair.
It's the major league team in the city. Was for a long time and still in a lot of people's
60
minds.
years.
Yeah, still in a lot of people's minds. They feel that way still. And when you have that, you have passion. You got, and that's the other side of this argument is, would you rather have people not care?
Yeah, good point.
You know, like
ask
if
Brady
people
White
didn't-
about the passion.
Right.
He got booed at the AAC championship game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and I'm sure that that part of it, I feel like most people understand. It's the vocal minority who say things like, you know, hope you stay injured and things like that.
No,
that
that's sick stuff. Beyond
that goes over the line and really makes I'm sure makes life very, very difficult for somebody like Alex Lomax, who's from
Only
here.
thing I've said over the line today, Jason, is I do not miss Boogie Ellis.
I haven't even looked and see how he's been doing lately. Is he
14
trailing
points
off?
last night. I watched the game against
We've
Cal.
got a texter that keeps up by the second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Making sure that we say the right things at the right time about him. Yeah.
Jason,
Don't give him too
Happy
much
New
praise.
Year. Best 20 minutes of the week, and I'm not patronizing you. That was good stuff. Thank you.
Appreciate
man.
it,
All
Jason.
right. I appreciate you, gentlemen.
You can follow Jason on Twitter at Munsley and all of his work at the Commercial Appeal, and he does a very good job on the Tigers beat. When we come back from the break, no Friday football forecast. We don't have a bunch of college games to pick as we normally do. But we're going to get to some NFL notes, and we're going to get to our NFL picks for this week right here on Sports 56 98.5.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Brought to you by Action 24/7, James Gaddis Jewelers, and Acura of Memphis. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest and every new latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better. They've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you. It's a new year. That means it's time for a floor model sale at Family Leisure. You can help Family Leisure make room for all the new 2022 products that are coming in. All floor models are priced to move right now. If it's on the floor, it's on sale. But you better hurry to get these special savings because once these floor models are gone, folks, they're gone. We're talking theater seating, massage chairs, arcades, foosball and hockey tables, all on sale. Shuffleboard tables, pool tables, they're on sale too. Plus, there's so much more on sale. And you can get New Year's deals on spas and swimming pools as well. Family Leisure needs the room for new inventory. So what's here has got to go. You can help them. The floor model sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. Happy New Year from our good friends at Family Leisure.
Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Belly Acres.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios, grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers, everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back in on Sports Time, and we have some breaking news. I mean, slightly breaking news in the NFL. And I don't think anybody will be surprised by this breaking news. Antonio Brown has officially cleared waivers, Brett. Does that surprise you?
It doesn't. It won't surprise me when somebody picks him up.
Oh, yeah. But I think that, what are we waiting? We're waiting for the offseason and into next year before we see him surface again,
You let
right?
somebody the wrong player get hurt Sunday, AB's with somebody next weekend in the playoffs.
Oh, gosh. That would make me very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable because he just can't stop talking, and he just can't get out of his own way. It is what it is, though.
Any more on the Instagram influencer that likes to lick
Oh,
toilet
yeah,
basins?
yeah. Do we have anything else?
I don't have any more updates right now. I could probably, if there is one, I'll look into it. We'll see if we
I
can
don't
get
even
one
like
for the-
cleaning mine,
So-
much less licking it.
So I did hear a joke she made earlier today. First of all, she's trying to hit on Tom Brady through her Instagram stories.
Whoa. Wait a second now. That's fighting words.
Yes, but that Gisele's going to come
I was
after
about to say,
Gisele's
what's Gisele gonna
powerful.
do?
You can't play games
Giselle's
with
worth
Gisele.
more than TB12.
But also,
Hit the
she
Google
made-
machine on Gisele
Brett-
Bunchen net worth. I bet you it's $350.
Higher. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you
higher.
think higher? Oh,
I
wow.
think no, higher than Tom, right?
Yeah, higher than
Certainly
Tom.
higher
Yeah,
than Tom.
I'm guessing $350, and I swear I haven't looked.
Another joke she made, Ava Luis, this Instagram model who started the COVID challenge by
sounds
licking
like
toilet
trouble.
seats. Licking toilet
Well,
seats.
right there tells you she's trouble.
400 million.
400 bones.
How
Whoa.
about it, Gisele? Good for her. But she made a joke about Antonio Brown. So Antonio Brown, part of that story is that Antonio Brown wanted to release a sex tape
Yeah.
with her. He wanted that to be on her OnlyFans. And she goes, and what
What'd
she
I
said,
do this
her,
for?
Brett, her comeback was hilarious.
Maybe
She
I
said-
won't be going to Kapaloo in 2028. It might be before the weekend's over.
The comeback was great, though. She said, no one wants to see a 2-minute video.
Ooh. Oh, no.
Oh,
He set
now.
himself. I mean, he did set himself up for that one, didn't he? I mean, come on.
Man.
That's mean. You don't have to go there.
Well, she licked toilet seats. We sort of expect this out of her. I mean,
I would just tell everybody, stay away from her. Don't even follow her on the IG.
before we get to our NFL
Trouble, all trouble.
Oh, you're not wrong. She is hitting up Tom Brady.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
And also AB keeps posting pictures. He had a Home Alone picture yesterday where
That was
he
bad.
was Kevin McAllister, and it was the Lost in New York one, and Tom Brady and Bruce Arians were.
Is Trump in this? Wasn't he in that one?
Well,
Wasn't
yeah.
Trump in Home Alone?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was briefly
At the plaza?
briefly.
Yeah.
Briefly, but the bad guys were Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. I don't know how Tom Brady's a bad guy in this day, Antonio Brown. How is Tom Brady the bad guy? That doesn't make any sense to me. Tom Brady,
That's classic
stuck
deflection, isn't it?
He stuck his neck out there for you, man. He's the reason you're in
Twice.
the league right now. Yes, 3 years running now at this point.
I don't know the proper segue to our football picks, but I want to attempt to make it. Should I try? Or you
Well,
I want to hear your attempt.
Hold up. I have a quick update about Ava Luis.
Okay, all right.
Looks like Devin Booker's trying to get in on the sweepstakes.
Wait, what do you mean? Isn't he with? He's with Kendall Jenner.
Supposedly
Stay
he
away.
DM'd her.
Wait, how?
Stay
wait,
away.
How long?
This
ago
is
this?
trouble.
Well, we don't know
This
that.
time out, you don't
we
have
don't
a
know
dime
that.
in a year.
Ava Luis just posted a screenshot.
You don't cross the
of
Jenner
the-
Kardashian
of
clan
the-
either, Brett.
Devin Booker
He is-
DM'd her with the little phone number.
Okay,
icon.
yeah, no, he's operating. Brett, he's operating.
Playing with
That's
fire.
dangerous. That's dangerous. You don't cross those Jenner girls.
No.
He's still with Kendall, I believe, though.
I walked by a
think
place
so.
last week in New Orleans, just walking by. I said, Brett, you just keep on going. Don't turn around. Don't look back.
You talking about
You
the far
just
end
keep
of Bourbon? You talking about the far end of Bourbon?
Yeah, I said, you up there in that Dauphine area,
Brett,
just keep right on going, Brett. Just keep going.
But Brett, they hand out gift certificates. I mean, come on. What are you talking about?
I could just see them having my whole ID, Amex number within 10 minutes. Just keep going. Whatever you do, don't turn around.
Oh, Lord.
All right, football this year, college football. Bryant was the winner for regular season picks. He was 44 and 45. I was 43 and 46. Gabe was 41 and 48. College football locks. Bryant won that. He was 6 and 7. I was 5 and 8. Gabe was 4 and 9.
But everything
college
evens
football,
itself out. A bowl
college
picks,
football shocks.
The trifecta.
College football shocks. Bryant 8 and 5. Both Gabe and I 5 and 8.
All right.
For the bowls, Gabe is leading, and I bet we'll probably win because I'm taking Bama Monday, I'm taking Georgia. I know you well enough. Gabe is 20 and 15, so plus 5 points. I'm 19 and 16, plus 3 points. Bryant is 14 and 21, minus 7 points. NFL for the year. Here we go. I am 55 and 49.
Ooh, that's good.
Gabe is 50 and 54. Bryant is 47 and 57.
Oh, I'm a college guy.
Yeah. That's
NFL lock. Gabe 11 and 6. I'm 10 and 7. Bryant 8 and 9. NFL shocks. I'm 9 and 8. Gabe Bryant 9 and 8. Gabe 7 and 10. So the point total, the modified Stableford scoring system of picking, I am at plus 13 points. Gabe, you are at plus 1 point. Bryant, you are at minus 11 points.
Wow. Minus the 11. Dang,
And
Brian.
bowl season really killed me, I'll tell you what.
Bowl season did you in.
How about it?
With that, games tomorrow.
And
These
Brett, you
lines,
started
these
off.
picks.
You started off so hot in bowl season. You're
Oh,
9
the
and
Bulls
0.
couldn't miss.
9
I
for 9.
I was bragging to you. I've never lost the
Well,
bowl
you
picks.
went too heavy on the SEC.
That is
I
true.
always do.
Just means more.
Always do. Gabe, again, you don't get this 100% for life membership as a bootlicker for the SEC just stumbling into it.
Or as a toilet
you got to
licker.
go all the way.
You got to earn it. You got to earn it,
I mean,
just like Ava Louise did with her COVID challenge.
Hashtag it just means more. All right, here we go. In the NFL tomorrow on ABC ESPN, 7:15, Dallas minus 5.5. I know who Bryant takes.
Woo!
He takes Philadelphia, right?
Oh, no. How about them boys?
Same for me, Dallas. Gabe.
Group lock. Give me the boys. Minus 5.5.
Group lock. For the year, group locks, we are.
I love these
We
advanced
are-
metrics.
Yeah.
We are
NFL next
19
gen stats.
and 23.
Ooh, wolf. The Eagles have gotten crowned though these past 4 weeks, beating some really bad opponents.
Just feasting on the bottom.
Yeah.
But you have to do that in a rebuild. That's the first-year coach and a quarterback that's still making his way.
And give Jalen Hurts his flowers. Give him his flowers.
For sure. 325 to on Sunday on Fox. Saints minus 3.5 at Atlanta. Give me New Orleans. Gabe?
Give me Atlanta straight up.
Whoa.
Give me Atlanta straight up.
The ATL straight up, Bryant.
I'll take NOLA.
NOLA.
Boy, that New Orleans defense
It's
is
the name
good.
of my
That
dog,
offense.
Is it really?
Shaky.
Yeah, my
I
dog.
like that.
Dog's
I like
named
that.
NOLA.
Sunday Night Football, NBC 720. The Los Angeles Chargers minus 3.5 at Vegas. In Las Vegas, give me Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree there. I think it'll be a close game, though. The Raiders have played close games. 3.5. I'm going to take the Chargers just because partly because I just don't. I want Vegas to be done with this year after what's going on.
They need to. It's time to sack up the bats. isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Group lock, Bryant?
Group lock.
There we go.
Group lock. NFL lock time. Bryant, you first.
Brian, we need a sounder for our
We do.
for our
I'll have to
group
work on
locks.
that. I'll have to work on that. I'm going to take the Packers minus 3.5 over the Lions.
Gabe?
Brett, and it's funny that he brings that one up first because I texted you with
That's
about
the shaky line
15
of the
question
weekend.
marks and 15 exclamation points. 3 points?
And I gave you such a great answer. I can't explain it.
Yeah, I guess the thought is that he's not going to play for the back half of the. That would have been my lock, but my lock.
And I hope you didn't think I was being too abrupt with you that I didn't have time to answer it. No, I just couldn't explain it. If I'd had plenty of time, I couldn't explain it.
Here are my predictions for my lock. I'm going to go Chiefs minus 11.5, and I think that's Vic Fangio's last game in Denver.
Firing Monday gets him. Give me for my lock Minnesota minus 5.5 over Chicago. Win or lose, it's the last game for Mike Zimmer on Sunday.
Who are all the Black Monday coaches? Matt Nagy, certainly. Zimmer, Fangio.
Houston starts over with something.
Really?
Yeah.
Coley, 1 year placeholder?
Uh-huh.
Pete
Carroll retires.
Brent, that would be wrong to do to Coley after 1 year,
It would
right?
be. It was wrong to hire him.
Right. I get that, but dang.
Joe Judge is out.
They said they were going to stick with him.
They won't. And the clock starts for Joe Judge. If something goes wrong at State with Mike Leach, Joe Judge will be the next coach at State after Mike Leach.
Rule getting claimed Black Monday?
Rules out. Yeah.
Rules out. Okay.
NFL shock time. Bryant, you first.
Duh, Bears. Never bet against the Red.
Zimmer's out.
Never bet against the Red Rifle.
Nick Foles won him a game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Give me Pittsburgh plus the 5.5 at Baltimore.
Yeah. Deontay Johnson is going to be active, right? I think they announced that today. He was originally on the COVID list. He has been activated.
For 1 day.
My shock, I'm going to go with the Panthers plus the 8.5 at Tampa.
Bell and Bruce both.
I'm fading them on this one. I think the Panthers can stick in there. I think Rule. I think he's coaching for his life, even though he may not be able to save his life. We'll see though. Panthers.
Next week we'll have 6 wild card games to pick, and then the next week we'll have 4, then 2, then 1. We're down here at the end of the year on the picks. That makes me so sad.
I just shed a tear.
It's okay. We'll just end it with a group lock for the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
That's what we'll do. And Super Bowl week, what I will refer to them
get ahead of yourself.
My Cowboys.
Oh.
My Cowboys.
Hey, we'll take you with open arms.
That's everybody's Cowboys. Everybody.
Watch it, Gabe.
But the bandwagon will be so full of incorrigible people like me pulling for the Cowboys.
I know we talk about the Patriots-Buccaneers Super Bowl being the one that has the most eyes. I think any Super Bowl with the Cowboys in it will have the most eyes.
I'm with you, especially
America's
with this
team.
Long absence. I know right now people are thinking about what to do for dinner tonight, what to do for food around the house this weekend, to watch all these games, to watch the Grizzlies in L.A., to watch the Tigers on Sunday afternoon. The commissary, 2 locations, Collierville Commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar, or the original in Germantown, that Memphis-style barbecue. The ribs so delicious, and it's authentic Memphis-style great food, the slow way. And if you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. Start that feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos that were invented in the early 80s at the Germantown Commissary. Walker Taylor and his team ready for this year, 2022. So appreciative of you for hanging with them in 2020 and 2021, and we're going to turn that big corner this year, and they're ready for it at both the commissary in Collierville and in Germantown. All the fixings come with it, slaw, beans, deviled eggs. Don't forget the party pack, 6-pack, 8-pack, 12-pack. The desserts, my favorite lemon ice box pie I've ever had in my life. It's at the commissary, and the terrific, outstanding banana pudding, 754-5540. Or go online at commissarybbq.com. Stay warm this weekend, and you can always do it with either location, the new Collierville Commissary at Houston Levy or the original in Germantown.
When we come back from the break, it'll be time to put a wrap on this week of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Referring a friend on FanDuel Sportsbook could be your ticket to Super Bowl 56. When you refer a friend on FanDuel Sportsbook, you'll be entered for a chance to win an all-expenses-paid trip to Super Bowl 56 for two. Share your exclusive referral link from the Sportsbook app. Once your friend places any bet of $10 or more, you'll both get $50 and you will be entered into the Super Bowl sweepstakes. New to FanDuel? Sign up with promo code CASH to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Referred players must wager $10 or more within 28 days after signing up. Bonus issued is site credit and is non-withdrawable and expires after 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. No purchase necessary for the Super Bowl ticket promotion. Super Bowl promotion closes on January 9th, 2022. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Corey and Zach lingered in foster care for years, longing for a permanent place to call home. They lost hope.
I felt alone in the world. I didn't feel loved. Every day felt like a lost cause. I thought, who would want to adopt an older child?
I thought, I'm going to end up on the streets. That's just how it's going to be.
Thankfully, Corey and Zach's journey changed when they were adopted with help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption.
It's really difficult to wonder how you're going to make it. I'm not going to have that problem now. I just won't. Because I have a family.
Today, Corey and Zach have bright futures. But every year, thousands of youth age out of foster care with no permanent family and no safety net. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
What I learned today, Brett, is that Charlie Batch, former quarterback in the NFL and for Eastern Michigan, is shooting his shot at Caleb Williams, of course, in the transfer portal from Oklahoma. He put a tweet out the other day saying, "Hey, Caleb, have you considered Eastern Michigan? If not, you should. Game Above Capital is prepared to pay you $1 million for 1 year. Are you ready to be an Eagle?" Apparently, Game Above Capital is a private capital business under the Capstone Holdings Incorporated family of organizations. I went and looked at their mission statement. It says, "We strive to be a resource of capital for well-established companies working vigorously to preserve our natural resources and bring forth innovative solutions in sustainability." So we could see, well, I don't think this is going to happen, but Caleb Williams, if he makes the move over to Eastern Michigan, he's got $1 million offer already on the table.
Eastern Michigan, in the bowl game this year, they lost to Liberty.
Yeah, sure did.
What I learned today, I've already decided I'm watching the same amount of the new USFL that I'm going to watch the Winter Olympics from the Fourth Reich in Beijing. 0. Zip.
What's wrong with the USFL?
Yeah, that's a shame.
Come on.
Not
guys,
a second.
Guys giving it their all to try to get back.
I lived
into
it
the
once,
NFL.
and it was glorious.
You didn't like the AAF?
No. It's the
XFL?
shittiest thing I've ever been to in person.
XFL?
Horrible. It was
Wow.
Football played on the parking lot of a strip joint.
The first installment of the XFL I'll give you. I thought before the pandemic shortened the second XFL, I thought it had a chance, right?
Potential.
It didn't look terrible.
It did. It was better.
Yes, but I am going to always be of the thought that a spring football league is just not in the books for us. I don't think we care enough, weirdly enough. I know we love football as an American society, but I don't think spring does it for us. What I could have done without is this big news. The New York Times is prepared right now. They're buying The Athletic. Of course, The Athletic, I know a lot of people subscribe to. I subscribe to. I think they do some good work over there. They do a lot of sort of focus and features.
Did you see
on
how
players.
much money they've lost?
But for $550 million, I'll get to that. The New York Times gained millions of subscribers during the Trump presidency and the pandemic, keeping it on track for a previously stated goal of 10 million subscribers by 2025. Their most recent subscriber number at the New York Times is 8.4 million. This will almost surely add to that subscriber total. But The Athletic, the money they lost the past 3 years, and especially last year, they lost $65 million in revenue in 2021. They've been looking for a buyer for a long time. And here's the one that really threw me off, Brett. And I understand The Athletic, when it comes to sports journalism, is a big trusted name. But they don't expect The Athletic to turn a profit for another 3 to 4 years.
They bought debt. They bought
did.
what they're going to lose the next few years. I don't know if they really got anything, tangible.
Yep.
But No,
Luckily, the New York Times for
extraordinary
themselves.
losses.
New York Times has done well for themselves the past 4 years, though.
Yes, it has. What's the Instagram young lady that's
Ava
mixed
Louise.
up with AB?
Ava Louise.
I go to her IG account before I have a New York Times subscription.
Oh.
I'll say it. I could have done without the empty Pauley Pavilion last night for UCLA and Long Beach State. Why? Is it science? Is it theater? Is it feelings? What's the difference between a crowd in a building in Los Angeles and a crowd that I was a part of in a building in Memphis? Can anybody explain that to me?
Wait, so you say that you're gonna get a New York Times subscription right after? Or wait, you'd go to Ava Louise's profile before you get a New York Times subscription?
I'll go to her IG account before I get a New York Times subscription.
It's not hard on the eyes, I'll tell you that.
Don't you go making promises you can't keep, Brett. That's all I'm going to say. We're looking forward to NFL Week 18. My gosh.
Sunday.
Tigers. The Grizzlies have a back-to-back in L.A. over the weekend.
Golf
you
in
take your pick.
paradise.
And by the way, tomorrow.
Go, Phil. Go.
Tomorrow, the amount of basketball we have: Wichita State, Houston, UConn, Seton Hall, Texas, Oklahoma State, Michigan State, just all over the place.
Tennessee at LSU.
We have so much this weekend. Stay tuned for all of it. That's all we have for today in the week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Alan Bell, Bruce Marshall, Drew Barrett, and Jason Munns for their contributions to the show. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and weekend. Stay safe. We'll holler at you Monday.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura